will shortly be joining the top cut. I've got with me Patrick, Rotomappliance, and Guypatching, who I think just uses Guypatching on Slack. But
Mostly, yes.
Yeah.
Hello, world. Hello.
Hello.
We can get the top cut on screen now. Hopefully, yeah, there we go. So it's cut to 8, and we have quite a mix of IDs in this. A lot of green and purple, but some very interesting things like Lat and Alice making the cut, as well as a BTL list, which I think is on Government Takeover Red Planet Couriers. Someone said
it is, yeah.
Yeah, I played against Rob and lost to this a few nights ago. I kept sort of missing loads of accesses and thinking, what's going on here? I thought Government Takeover was no longer in the meta, but then it got scored, and that was it.
A few nights ago, blimey, this has been a long tournament, hasn't it? I mean, like that's you've really piled through the marathon on this one.
No, I didn't play Rob in the tournament.
Cool. Is there any particular games that anyone wants to watch for the first round of the cut? So I can see him sitting down now. The Lat, which is on Apocalypse, is playing against Chris Ferg's Asa group. We have Ben playing Mendak's playing Corp. I think Ben is playing Corp as well. My JNet keeps refreshing because there's another event that started, so that's
I presume a lot of people might choose Corp at the moment, unless you've got a particularly usually good matchup.
I kind of want to watch this Rob's game.
Okay, I'm joining that.
So, in that table, are the JNet names the same?
Okay, so it's against Alice.
It's against Swifty on Alice.
APOC. Of course it's APOC.
I mean, indeed. I mean, what more do you want from Swifty, so?
Swifty said if we're here for high-level Netrunner play, we're in the right place. and then gets a little trash talk on Rotogen, which is
well, who had that on their watching an Aldershot game bingo? To be honest, if I was Mendax, I'd be slightly worried about being flatlined just by being Corp. So,
oh, here we go.
I play a lot of Among Us with Swifty and Rotage, and if one of them turns up dead, we usually vote the other one out quite quickly. And it's quite often right. So Alice getting an early Stargate and points there.
Yeah, I mean, presumably that's part of the it helps a lot once you know a list, right? Because we know, for instance, this list isn't on hard-hitting news, so do your turn on 2 credits, and you can just be like, all right, fine.
And also, assuming Rob doesn't have the Government Takeover in hand, it could have been a really fast game if it was on top.
Yeah. But that's how you win, right? Because it's you're not going to be able to make this deck poor after a certain juncture, because Ascom for a Squillion credits is going to be possible from about turn 6.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well get that early Stargate in. Presumably, did Rob choose to Corp? Presumably,
I believe, yeah, Rob is the higher seed, so Rob chose to Corp.
Mm-hmm.
So Rob chose this knowing that it's, I presume, Apocalypse Alice, because I haven't seen Alice play anything other than Apocalypse.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup, isn't it? There's no border controls or anything like that to play against the Apocalypse.
Really?
So he's really counting on just keeping the runner out just with ice and knowing the run effects, because if all your ice gets destroyed, there goes your Red Planet Courier's plan.
Oh yeah, that is a
really
good point.
interesting,
That the majority of the advancement token bank will be on your ice. So a well-timed apocalypse just can
It's very all in.
totally undo that. So I found Rob's list here. He's on biotic labours as well, for as you assume the Red Planet Couriers. But yeah, three food initiative, 1 takeover, 3 hostile takeover.
I'm actually quite surprised at that first Stargate. I suppose it's a kind of go for it when you can, but if you've got the APOC option, like, do you just draw for that? And like, if you know there's no like, if you have enough money, you can do it, right? Like that's the funny thing when you're not dealing with border controls or anything like that. Like, just
with this ice setup, it is literally as long as you have enough money, you are going to get apocalypse through. Because the ice is 3 Akhet, 2 Colossus, 3 Horton, 1 Macrophage, 1 Mazvingo, and 3 Pharos. So whilst Rob can make it quite expensive to apocalypse, you can never actually stop it if Alice gets enough money.
Yeah. So I think you just you try and get all the bakers in the bin as quickly as possible, and then just take a whole ton of money with liberated and casts and whatever, and then beyond a certain point, it's just not going to be stoppable, is it? Even with the Pharos or whatever, you can calculate it. Pretty accurately.
Yeah, I mean, in 2 turns there are going to be 9 counters on. Next turn there will be, because the wall-to-wall will add.
Yeah, you need it all though, don't you?
Guess
you need the.
Is it the race thing, presumably?
Yeah, I mean, you have to like. Okay, that's going to add another counter, but there is only 1 government takeover in the deck. Whilst it is also only a 44 card deck, it is do they have it or not? How early do you go? I guess if like you see a biotic or a red planet at some point, it's an indication to like there's a red planet. So
it's still very unlikely, isn't it? You need there's 2 biotics, there's 1 government takeover. I don't think you start worrying about it just yet. I think you just still build up your breakers and your money until you can go for it. He's probably going to make me look stupid by scoring it right now.
So it takes, is it 9 credits to 9 credits to biotic out?
Yeah.
And Red Planet Couriers.
6, 7. So it could happen now. In theory, we've got the advancements. Got the
it
red
could happen
planets.
now, and what also if they do manage to get a red planet out, like you can apocalypse as much as you want, but if Rob finds that 2-1,
so now he's got the second hostile,
right?
Okay. Which I think you do want to score out as soon as you've got it. Now that 1's gone,
but it's still the same thing now. Like that, the threat of that 9-6 being scored is always there as long as Rob has money and 9 counters on play. I think.
Do you go for it? I mean, there's only 2 sentries in the deck. They don't end the run.
Yeah.
Maybe this is it, right?
Yeah.
So there's one of them.
Yeah. And that's fine, because like you go, okay, you trash the program, but it'll come back because you're.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to lose the Stargate, which sort of reduces the value of the R&D run.
Yeah, I thought the Clippy would be binned actually, just to make the apocalypse harder. Because if you assume this is apocalypse, killing the Stargate doesn't have any value, does it?
Well, the Stargate on the apocalypse run, if you don't have the pieces in hand.
Yeah, I guess it prevents this being a Stargate, but it looks like Swifty just wants to do it by overclocking.
Yeah.
What
it stops is you put the other piece of R&D ice in the bin, as in like you see a piece of ice with Stargate and like you make it that much harder to recover.
So he's got it, hasn't he? He's got the
unless he takes the government takeover just out of hand. Oh, punitive.
Punitive. Okay,
Okay,
that's
so
another.
That's another
I'd
potential.
forgotten about that.
Yeah,
I'd
so
forgotten that
I'm looking at the
completely.
list now, and there is no tag punishment in the deck. So I guess Colossus is just there as a destroyer.
Yeah.
And a big thing.
A
a Wanton.
Not slowing down.
Yeah.
He's not slowing down. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would presume that the plan was to try and like score this before this happened. And I think once it's happened, you go up there. Like,
yep.
When you've got wall to wall and sprint and all those things, like I think maybe you just go for it.
And
here we go, another Stargate.
Varus punitive Varus.
That's a Varus going around the bin, and which is just going to make it that much harder to come back from.
The other Varus is going to be annoying though. He's got the money to manually advance this.
There's an RH deck in the cut. What's RH? Oh, the Jinteki deck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very excited to see.
Oh, cool.
It's all kill. It's got loads of nasty stuff going on.
Yeah, that is largely how it's an Oxford player, Dan, and he has been flatlining us constantly. He was playing a lot of Kronos before it rotated, and I imagine it's got that same kind of feel of you can probably steal one of the 5/3s, but you don't wanna. So
playing Salem, so it probably is what you face. Neurospike as well.
Yeah, so he'll have the one off Salem's, I think, as his anti iPad worst deck, which is always typically what we've used it for.
So to say, Rob Central seems to be pretty well defended. Well, I say pretty well defended. They have ice on them again.
So R&D
10 credits.
Is that presumably the Pharos, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what HQ is.
It's also quite a few counters back, being what's there 6.
Yeah, that's 6. I mean, like that's that's not. So now.
Oh.
Okay. So he's now threatening.
So
What's the card in the remote then?
I
an NGO
assume
or
it's
something?
NGO, or it could just be a very nicely bluffed, government takeover. Because Swifty has just left it there for a while.
Yeah,
Swifty looking up Pharos.
And there is now 9 counters and a known red planet in the hand.
Well, did it get binned by the Wanton? Maybe you should check the bin as Alice here.
I'm surprised that there hasn't been any like random bin runs with.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Biotic.
Oh, is this it?
Yeah, there it is.
You've done it. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That really feels like Swifty got an early APOC off and then just stopped putting pressure on, because Archives was open against Alice. Why would you not run server 5? Yeah, it was an NGO, but yeah, Archives was open against Alice. It seems like you would just constantly poke at Archives.
He was concerned about the punitive, so I presume he's got the problem of. I mean, he seemed potentially rich enough, but he was liberating up quite a bit towards the end of that game. So he may well have been concerned about the.
Oh, like
so if he ran Archives, there's double GFI. That's what's Rob's plan there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got I've had worse. I guess if it was 2 GFIs.
If it's 2 GFIs, you just die to punitive.
Yeah, that's the instant flatline.
Yeah, Rob saying if you run Archives, I dump GFI. Yeah. Fair enough.
Cool.
So I presume he was drawing for either another Wanton, or if he has one, or another APOC, so that he could just like do it all again.
Yeah.
He is on the second Wanton, so that's entirely possible.
He is. Yeah.
Like I think at that point when there was 9 counters on, including 1 in a remote, you needed to check the remote, because even if it was GFI, I think you can survive punitive for 3.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, that only buys him like 1 turn, right?
Yeah, but
I mean, you can start poking the hand, I guess. You keep just running through this Hackett and just try and pick out the government takeover. It's always hard because you don't know whether they have it or not.
Absolutely not.
And
at
I
that
think
point,
I
don't
think
know
one
what else.
turn is all you need to be able to APOC the 9 counters away again.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Well, entirely possible, but it's hard to know what was in. You don't know what's in Swifty's hand and what his.
Yeah, like he may not have even had another APOC.
Yeah. Well, I would assume he didn't have it there.
Cool.
But
Well,
I suppose his worry was if you do your APOC turn, and as you run archives, that's when Rob puts another GFI in there. Like you finish your APOC, but then immediately get flatlined. So it doesn't necessarily save in the game.
Yeah.
So that
You want to look at another game?
yeah. Let's jump into the one of Chris Ferg versus Harvey and see this APOC.
See if there's any more APOCs going on. Yeah. Chris Ferg, Harvey. So APOC Lat against standard Acer, is it?
Yes, looks like.
Oh wow, 6-4 and Vitruvius token.
Definitely been. There's definitely been.
Looks like
there's definitely been an APOC here. Chris with, well, it's 4 points to 6 with a Vitruvius counter out. Let's see if I can find. So the lat list is literally just APOC. It's running 2 APOC, 2 Paperclip, 3 Harbinger as its influence. 6 out of the Ashes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very all in.
Yeah.
Yeah. No need for subtlety here.
So Chris has rescued what presumably an agenda or 2 from the bin here. And yeah, this deck is on Lakshmi, so this is not the Skunk Work Void Acer. This is the Simon Moon deck with Lakshmi and
you've definitely got a problem when you're on Lakshmi versus APOC because you can't steal it. But
it's the weak. It's a weak matchup. It's apparently the only weak matchup for this corp, according to the write-up, is Apocalypse.
Cool. Well, the Apocalypse deck using Conduit as, I suppose it's a coup de grace and just letting Slot Machine happen. I mean, there's 3 events there.
Ding ding ding. 3 advancements. That could be relevant. That could be a food.
That could be the food or the Vash. I can't find his list, but I assume he's on food.
It's a food list. Yeah.
Not anything fancy like Vashron or Ikawa.
Ashron would be great though.
But
there we go.
Ian snipes it from the top with.
That felt like the right play with how poor he was at that point. So.
Yeah, of just medium dig and whoa, language there, Ian. You are on stream.
Exactly.
Oh well, those were 2 very fast games, I suppose.
Yeah, indeed.
Is there any other game going on?
Hemra versus Rotomappliance is another one of ours.
Yeah, we can watch that.
You can
Oh, this is the
potential.
No, that's
that's also over.
That's over.
Looks like So
okay, we can watch Ben versus Ian.
Yeah. Assuming I'm not going to join this and it's just going to be over. Okay.
Well, the HP deck is not on kill, I'm pretty sure. Oh wow.
So I joined and just the botulism everywhere from
wow, yeah, that's
a real problem for
from
this
Omar. I mean, there is a rebirth. What? So it's obviously not Omar naturally. Is it?
It's
Max. Okay,
Max.
So this is the
it's the virus deck.
Hive Mind
it's the
Max
virus
deck.
deck.
I think it's not even without any with no modifications, as I understand it. Looking at it just briefly.
So is this just the win in the remote? Is that what's happening?
I would expect so.
Yeah, I assume
you
that's.
You don't sit around for the late game when you've got 3 ice on there. You wouldn't put an AGM.
Yeah.
I assume this deck's not on NGO anyway, so we are just Hail Marying as the runner here.
I think the runner here needs to Hail Mary R&D, and because they'll see 5 cards overall.
Yeah, that ain't nothing.
Oh yeah, there's a conduit. You have a turtle in the bin as well, which could come in at what, 4?
Well,
you
you can use the Simul chip to eat the Botulus on HQ and put it on the ice if it as well. Because
that's true.
With Cookbook, it'll get an extra counter, and if need be, you can eat a counter off Hive Mind. Although you probably don't want to with Conduit going. Although you can also grab the turtle if you want to run more than once. Because although you do need to,
maybe can't.
You can get through Hagen twice, I think. Because if you let the first sub fire, you're just going to lose the conduit.
The conduit, yes.
Okay,
is this list on a single Cyberdex? That be in that remote. So I mean, you've got to try and get that.
Could well be. Kikai Corp. Yep, there is a Cyberdex.
Cyberdex.
And the Cyberdex isn't in the bin, so
it could also be a void right in the remote. So I guess the remote is pretty dead to you. You just have to try and.
There is not a Clippy in. Oh, there is a Clippy in the bin. So they can they clip through the thing? So they're gonna sack a card here by the looks of it, which
you can lose your if this is your last bit of the game. Now you've installed that Botulus, you can could
lose either of the blank ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the
this really does look like just are any of the can I win in a 5-card dig?
Which is plausible. It's a reasonable attempt. It's pretty thin. Yeah, he says good luck.
Saying good luck. Yeah.
He doesn't mean it.
Too kind.
Too kind.
Oh,
there's one.
There's one of them.
But that's so we're seeing the 4th card now where the runner's pausing, so it's probably got some kind of trash cost. Because if it was anything like Ickle or Overcarter out of HP for some reason,
looking at his hand,
it would just be taken straight away.
Oh, okay, that's he was just feeling annoyed for a second. Yeah.
No,
one more card, right?
No, that was the one under it. So they paused on the 4th card, and the 5th card was the Virus Suite, which I think just kills any hope of getting in anywhere now.
It should be, yeah.
Well, what's on HQ?
Well, there was another access there, but it missed.
Yeah. There's no Black Orchestra in the bin and not enough money to go.
You could install a Simul chip, right?
Yeah.
Does he have a Simul chip?
Yeah.
Possibly.
To refresh the Botuli, then you can get in
HQ
somewhere. Well, HQ presumably. Yeah, there's no point.
You can't refresh the Botulus because you've already sacked something this turn, so you can't trash the Simul chip.
Yeah.
You can grab Turtle, which will be Strength 1, which can get through the what is that, Gatekeeper?
Yeah, Gatekeeper. So you can get
an access on HQ and hope you get lucky, but
you could let the first subroutine fire so they draw and then hope they forget to shuffle them back into R&D.
You could.
Could pull a Trank, but which will there is no Tranquilizer in the bin. Oh no, there is. There's one which will do-res something, but like
it comes to the same, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You're just seeing one
comes
card.
to the same. You're just seeing one card. The Virus Suite, like clearing all the counters off.
Yeah.
Trying
archives.
Checking archives.
I mean, it's possible that Ben was like, well, HQ is just getting Botulus, so I'll just hide it in here.
Yeah, I think I would have run HQ, but we'll see. Didn't see the rest of the game, so we don't know whether the Corp had a reason to bin an agenda.
But Ben's actually asking, like, is it a normal run? Or
Oh, okay, so that makes it slightly more likely.
He's not sort of like being slightly casual about the whole arrangement.
No, whenever you ask that, you feel they ask that, you feel slightly better about your choice.
So Tranquilizer.
Tranquilizer. Okay.
It does de-res this. It's just not programmed right on JNet at the moment because it should come in with have 3 counters when its ability resolves.
Yeah,
which will de-res it.
Yeah, I came across this actually in my round 3 game. I learnt that it can insta-speed de-res. I did not know that before today.
Yeah. You've got to feel slightly sorry for the JNet developers that, like, you know, you've kind of got Hive Mind in the back of your mind as a kind of like, we'll get to it. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, like, this deck comes out as like it's now the key interaction in the whole game.
Yeah,
it was. So there was nothing in the bin. Yeah. Close game.
Oh, that's round 1, I believe.
That is round 1, and we can currently look at the stand. Oh, round 2 has been paired already, and we have.
Oh my goodness.
We have
kick.
I can bring it up on screen, I think. So yeah, so for round 2 we have Kikai versus Mendax. Mendax corping again. Rotage running against Ian's corp. And then the other Ian corping against Swifty's runner, and Hemra on Steve against Chris Ferg's corp. Does anyone have a game?
Again, has quite an interesting runner deck in that his Steve has 3 en passants.
Yeah,
that's kind of like shutdown, but different.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's got like the shutdown and the inside jobs, but he hasn't gone all in and gone for like the you leave no trace and things like that. So. But that's potentially quite an interesting deck as well. But it's your stream.
Okay, let's. Cool. Yeah, I'm good for watching that one when the game comes up, especially as it's like one person from that round will be leaving the tournament after this game, either him or Chris Ferg.
It's a good way of thinking about it. I'd completely forgotten that. I was like, oh yeah, to watch these 8 players for ages, as I know. One good thing about online tournaments is you don't have the awkward "I'm there, drive home" kind of thing.
Probably not.
Yeah. Whereas if I'd gone to this tournament with Dan, for instance, there's every chance that we'd be trying to go home together, and now he'd made the cut, I'd be like, get on the train.
Yeah, that does happen quite often at events I'm with Patrick.
Yeah.
Like there was one where we all decided, like, I think me, Patrick, Alex White, and Dom had decided to go get food after the event, and Patrick and Alex both ended up being in the final of the event, and it was quite a long final.
I don't know what you expected.
Well, Paul was our trip, wasn't he? But he was quite happy to come along for the meal.
Oh, because that was the one where Alex was playing Surfer Woo and said that they had the nuts in the starting hand, and Stim hacked to get 2 Rizekis and just face planted into a Sapper that was in HQ.
Brilliant fun. Triple Sapper Blue Sun.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, it was it was quite funny.
Full-on rig shooter against those leprechauns that Wu was playing.
I forgot about Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
more fun than getting rid of a Damon.
Is the game? Oh, the game is.
I literally just.
Oh, there it is, in front of my eyes. Okay. Has anyone ever said no, Aki?
Presumably at some point, yeah. I think people on the Nisei stream have said no before.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
The nose, but
Chris needs to see the list. Probably a good idea.
oh,
I'm gonna
the
look at it
surprise
as
on
well.
Passan is gone. It's very interesting, this actually. The more I look at it, it's like there's certain moments of like one Amakua, two Dirty Laundry is like really interesting to me. Like I love the idea of like, you know, Amakua is an afterthought rather than like a key.
It's just a random. Had to fill one slot.
Oh,
46 cards though.
46 cards.
It's a 46 card. Oh my gosh.
And exactly half events. There's so much beautiful symmetry in that deck.
Oh, where's the Anicam?
Yeah.
Half events.
Oh, I found it. Yeah.
Yeah. Very curious about where the draw is. I think
Where the draw is
in your card pack with Steve, right?
So we can get it the list on stream quickly. So yeah,
it's just the class act, isn't it? 2 class act, 2 deuces, which is kind of sketchy to count as draw anyway.
I think you will be clicking to draw and just going for it's fine. I'll be earning my credits by like security testing and getting my cards back, and I love its aggression. Do you know what I mean? I've always loved like lists with something.
Security testing for more money, inside jobs, 2 mutual favors, which seems like you could have cut one of them as the 46 card, but
possibly.
Sometimes you really want a breaker, do you know? Like especially if you're going on this level of like attack.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to like draw. It's just like, right, go. I will find this breaker and I will go and deal with it. But it's fascinating to me that like every time I've built criminal lists, I've been like, no, I have to put in diesels or I have to put in like Earthrise and all that package just to have a list.
This deck just says
doesn't.
no.
Yeah,
Do not.
Yeah.
I guess like 3 inside job is a lot, and 3 boomerang. You have a lot of sort of remote busting tricks early on. So I guess you're hoping to keep the corp honest and stop them rushing while you have time to draw these cards. I think I would still just be tempted to cut a mutual favor and find something else and just play 2 Earthrises, but then that's probably just me not understanding the deck.
It's the interesting thing here of being like, right, you decided to clear the board. But what's quite nice is that like right now you could like run HQ and like Dirty Laundry or Short Gamble is both like fine. You know, like I presume you give the Short Gamble back here.
Oh, they've started. Fair enough. What happened? No ice on HQ then. So it was
no ice on HQ. Oh, and a Vitruvius Steel.
Sorry, I had to quickly go and sort something out. The game should be visible on stream now, hopefully, rather than just a deck list. So I just got back and saw Vitruvius stolen and no ice anywhere.
Yeah, so what happened was, first turn was install 2 remotes. Steve went and cleared both a Jeeves and one of the campaigns, which one was it? It was on Maryland.
Okay.
And then ran HQ for Give Me Back a Dirty Laundry or a Short Gamble, and got back the Dirty Laundry, which I actually found quite interesting because my instinct was that you give back the Short Gamble.
I mean, Dirty Laundry gives less money and can be blocked, but
it's not getting blocked, is it? Easily?
No, and
this.
with no, it's zoomed in as far as it'll go at the moment. It's on 150%.
Steve was also on 4 credits at the time as well, so it was like, ooh, you have to click for a credit. And it's like, you know, you're already clicking to draw. But you know, I may well be overthinking it, which is, you know, a weird accusation for someone who comes up with decks that are clearly the opposite of them.
So Chris might be sort of making a recovery if this is a Rashida.
Oh, I mean, recovery seems far away when the R&D gives 2 points to that.
Might as well just go again. Yeah. It's a pretty good idea.
Absolutely good. Oh
yeah. Oh, and another 2 points.
This
You
is
presume that's yeah.
Chris seems happy though. There we go. He's got his Rashida. He's happy. Rashida is worth at least 4 points.
But it wouldn't be impossible to see a recovery here, I don't think, because you've got enough tools.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah,
I agree. Like Asa can definitely come back from 6 points down. You've got Lakshmi. You can sometimes just lock them out, can't you?
Is Chris on the Lakshmi build then?
Yeah.
Yeah, like getting a Lakshmi that's hard to challenge just can. Although he has lost 2 Vetuviuses, which means he can't cover Vetuvius with Lakshmi, and unless it's already in hand.
Yeah, it's a long way off, but it's possible. Probably want to ice R&D. I would have thought. I know you don't normally ice R&D, but
yeah, but it's just an errant access away from losing the game.
Yeah,
that was a fully operational for 3 credit gain thing, so that's 6 credits. Build your own IPO.
Yep. Maybe you just leave R&D, but the thing is, when the runner's getting a credit for running it, anyway,
like when Steve has Desperado at home installed, like they literally don't lose anything for checking the top of R&D.
Yeah. So what have we got? An inside job. Okay. Just
interesting.
Yeah, there could be something in hand.
Yeah.
So Chris reses that, probably respecting the possibility of an en passant.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it?
So you're not getting anything back as Steve, though, are you? So that's
no.
You probably wanted to save that until you played something else.
I would probably have used it to check one of the remotes if I was going to use it for anything.
Well, the only thing is you now know what that ice is, so you can. I think the theory is you can now neutral favor for the breaker and Doof. Assume is the principle. Look, that you've got the. You've got that sort of now. You've got that information, whereas, but you don't want to face. You don't want to hit whatever ice it is.
Okay, so we've got some quite nice board here for Chris. Another fully off.
Yep.
Just another remote. Just still not icing R&D. Probably right. He knows what he's doing. So if I would ice R&D, then chances are it's probably the wrong thing to do.
Well, at some point you have to be like, come on, R&D, you can only give so many points up.
Yeah, he's owed.
There is that.
He's owed something.
So I suspect that inside job was hoping that they wouldn't res the ice, so you could just destroy it.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. But, like, Dan knows that the deck's been seen.
Yeah.
So, I assume there is
I think if
sort of backup.
Yeah. If the Corp didn't know the list, that would actually be much better, wouldn't it? Because they probably wouldn't res the ice.
Well, I think at this point shenanigans are up. You know that something's going on. Oh wow, the Lakshmi was undefended.
The Lakshmi was undefended and gone.
I suppose that means there's another Lakshmi around quite easy, or is that a typical play? You'll have to forgive me. I'm not as familiar with.
I don't know what
the Lakshmi was iced.
Yeah, normally. I don't know what it means.
Like, I don't think there is a Lakshmi in 4 or 5, because surely it would have been rezzed, and the Lakshmi that got trashed rezzed, or rezzed before the campaigns. I think Chris is just trying to sneak it out or make the runner waste time.
Right, okay.
Okay, so this is the agenda.
Yeah, so maybe the Jeeves is effectively more important, right?
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Jeeves is that the write-up says, and I agree with it, that Jeeves is very important to ice, and I think a lot of people overlook that because of the high trash cost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I run Miss Bones in my deck, and as soon as I see an ice Jeeves, it's gone. But as soon as ice goes on it, the cost of running that Jeeves becomes so much higher. But it's also
Rashida trashed.
You can just lose if it's left unchecked.
Nothing on R&D.
There was a bit of a pause on that access.
Yeah, maybe a Lakshmi or something. You would
Dan
have
is a very
Lakshmi,
cautious player. I have seen him pause before taking a credit before. So
okay,
Maybe it's a Jeeves, like
Yeah,
because you wouldn't trash Jeeves, but I think you would trash a Lakshmi. You trash a lot of other things just to see something else.
I don't
from
think you can
R&D.
trash Jeeves when there's a Jeeves already on the table.
No, you
I'm
can't.
intrigued by the installing of the Begalta.
Yeah,
Whether
me
that
too.
means that there's a drafter on top of R&D maybe, or similar, or suspect that there's something like that around.
Yeah. What are the sentries? Just drafter, is it? Presumably.
I assume it'll be drafter. Yeah, probably just drafter, and
So
if it's
all
the
you would normally.
standard ARSA lists. So the Vitruvius grabbed fully operational back. Still no ice on R&D, which feels like really risky when the runner's on 6 points.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe there just isn't any in hand right now. He didn't ice the new remote, so.
Oh yeah.
Maybe there's just
maybe
nothing.
like HQ is like so full of agendas. You're like, you know what? Fine.
Yeah.
The odds
Could
are
It
in my
could
favour
be.
there.
You're gonna hope Steve doesn't run HQ right now, which he could do.
Yeah.
Boomeranging into one of these remotes.
Yeah, I think Dan having an agenda snuck out before isn't going to let that happen again.
Oh yeah.
No. So this could be a Lakshmi play, couldn't it? Potentially.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't sandbox.
I don't think it is Lakshmi. Oh, sorry.
No, I mean this is the agenda. Yeah, and maybe the other card is a sandbox. The agenda.
Ah, yes, you need to go the other way around, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so he needs to have 2. He also has a backup in server 7, which you could use to get 3 counters.
I mean, it might need 3, right?
If it's the GFI,
could be a food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
could be.
I would be surprised
Like
if GFI agree, but
you would try and do a sandbox first, probably, and close with the food.
So
Yeah.
so
Sandbox shown from.
Okay.
Oh, all the So now knowing there's sandbox in hand, what you let them score the sandbox off the table as Steve, and then just run HQ 4 times?
Yeah, maybe you can do it for 3 creds a pop with the paperclip.
Yeah.
There might be other stuff in
that as well. Like you need to be richer at the start of this turn to do that, right?
Well, I think you run R&D maybe to get a penny shaver, and then he hasn't done that, but I think maybe you run R&D, get your penny shaver credit, and then just make as many runs on HQ as you can.
I mean, the dream is there's like a legwork or something. I don't know.
I don't know if the deck.
I don't
what
think
does it have?
I don't think I saw much, if any, multi-access.
No, there isn't.
He's only on
actually.
turning wheels.
There's two wheels, and that's it for the multi-access. So I think Chris here doesn't want to score the sandbox, and you just want to play more assets that you can.
Okay, he's guarding against this line.
Yeah.
Dan only being on 5 credits, I think, does change things a lot.
It's It's a shame he didn't have an ice for R&D, but
the only thing that you could have is a sneak door.
Deck play sneak door, doesn't it?
Go for it, yeah.
That'd be a great play. Might be digging for that actually.
Yeah. You might as well click the credit and see the top card of R&D. I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this isn't looking good because I think like this is score the sandbox and jam the other one in. You can't.
Or a food if you have it.
You can't try and go into HQ to steal it because the ice covering HQ empowers Lakshmi enough to stop you stealing the sandbox.
That's why you need the sneak door in order to give it a go, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this could be the sandbox, or it could be a food biotic if you install something in the remote.
Yeah.
So this is kind of what we were talking about earlier about Acer sort of recovering to this sort of a board state.
Yeah. Like
He's
it's been,
still
it's been
digging
dealing
for
with
what-
criminal for a long time, right? So like those lines
Yeah.
are very familiar.
Yeah, just tell the spectators to come to the stream rather than crash JNet.
Ideally,
check, check R&D, and then hope it's not a food biotic.
yeah. What you don't challenge the sandbox, or
Well,
You can't
you
really
can,
do anything, can
because
you?
if
you consider like inside jobbing the Lakshmi, so it's off the table for now, like so that you don't want the next score to be easy, and like you've got your pace.
Possibly.
involved.
yeah,
Possibly.
inside job or just challenge the Laxmi in general. Because
So the Lakshmi is only good to protect foods after the. Assuming this is a sandbox, the Lakshmi is only relevant for foods, but it might be worth getting rid of anyway.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's not a
There's
go
the
for
wheel. So the wheel should have been installed before running R&D, shouldn't it?
yeah, possibly. Yeah, I think there's a. Yeah, there goes the doof because it's not helping you at this point. With this many fully up fires, like it's just not.
Yeah, there we have it.
So
There's
it
the
was
biotic
yeah.
food. Yeah, indeed. Well played, Chris. Well recovered.
Pulled that out.
that was.
Unfortunately, that does mean that Dan is out of the tournament.
Yeah.
But making it this far is a cracker. So
Yeah, and like
Oxford is very proud of him.
like to recover from that was like really solid play by Chris, but like I don't think I would have been able to leave R&D open after 6 points got bled so early.
We keep coming back to it, but no, I would just like a coward just ice R&D straight away and probably lose many turns later.
Yeah. If you arrive now, you could just like claim that it got unpercented or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, just go, oh no, I did ice R&D.
I did, but then I didn't res it when they.
Also, an interesting thing to note there is Steve only got 1 proc of his ability.
Yeah.
Which was on the inside job run, which.
No, the inside job didn't.
Oh,
there was only 1 card. That was why I was surprised. It was done straight away. It was on turn 1, wasn't it?
Okay, so
it was either turn 2.
Oh yeah, so it just seems, especially with Paperclip and just Hagen there for a while, it seems odd that they weren't running HQ just to get the econ back from the bin. But
yeah, he took his picks, I suppose, on what he wanted to see. He inside jobbed remotes, didn't he? And
yeah, I think there was a lot of drawing for presumably sneak door, and for all I know, like that hand is like 3 on passants, and like it's not helping you right now.
Cool. Let's jump into the other. Is it low bracket? Who's the other low bracket?
It would be
Swifty and
Ian.
Yeah. Have a look at that. Swifty on APOC, Algebraic on some Wayland deck that I can't remember. Let's have a look.
It looks like another BTL deck.
Yes, and interestingly, the government takeover is in Swifty score area, which is.
Oh wow!
I'm not familiar with the BTL list, but I presume that's not where you want it.
Exchange though, Exchange is live if he has it. We've got a punitive. Plater. Has it just been stolen?
Is this
perhaps?
a punitive for 6? This is what Swifty was afraid of in the other game against this deck.
Yeah, and it's happening. Yeah.
If I don't pay into this, we go to time.
Have a real good think about it, Swifty.
Swifty. I get another turn.
You get to complete this turn.
Algebraic taking no nonsense.
Yeah.
Credits 69. Swifty, how unprofessional.
So there was a
Concede.
bit of BMing from the people's champion.
Yeah.
Refusing to die, conceding instead.
Yeah.
Rough cut. Yeah.
Yeah. The game knows how many he had when the trace started, so he couldn't even cheat. Well, yeah. Well, that's him gone.
Oh wow!
So which of these other games do we want to look at?
So we've got Ian against Rotage or Ben against Rob.
I don't think we've seen any Rotos yet.
Okay, we can
let's
hop
have a
in
look.
there.
Look at
I'm going
Spombo
straight
versus.
from
Spombo
Swifty to
versus it's Tau, but it's just ended. Ian
Fair
won. Like,
There we go.
I'm just looking at a HQ with 16 cards in it.
Yep, that's it. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and then the classic 6 agenda points over in the runner's score area, but that being a good thing.
6 agenda points with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in the score area.
Yep.
Excellent.
That's a thing.
Okay, so let's hop into the last game, which is Ben versus Rob. Probably. Oh, and that's just ended.
Yeah. Well, round 3.
We're good at this, aren't we?
Yeah.
Everywhere we
Turn
go,
11.
game.
Ben's still government takeover. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate that 2 decks in this top 8 cut are running government takeover?
Yeah, I think that's
Brilliant.
That is something that one can observe, definitely.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
So we're going to have Ben against Ian in the winners final.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Then we've got Dave against the other Ian and Chris against Rob. And the way that Double Limb works now is like the winner of Table 9, which is Ben and Ian, will get like an hour or 2 break as everyone else catches up, because it's the winners of the other 2 loser tables will play each other. Then the winner of that will play the loser of Ben versus Ian. Then the winner of that will play the winner of Ben versus Ian for the final. So so there's lots of Netrunner still to play.
Indeed.
Top 8 lasts forever.
It does, and when it first came out and the rounds were 50 minutes, it used to last longer than the Swiss, because the Swiss was only 4 rounds. I think so. We got Rotage Corping against Algebraic running. We can watch that one when they set up.
Yeah, of course. So we do have 2 RPCs that could theoretically win this now, with the Biotic Replant Couriers.
Yeah, we also have a Spombo deck which could theoretically win as well.
Wow. I don't want to play against any of those on Gen. Thank you very much. I guess I'll take the government takeover over Spombo.
Yeah.
Ian's doing really well, isn't he?
Yeah,
Happy
and
in the winners final.
And that fucking like Apocalypse Lat list, which I was like, why are you playing Lat? His ability cannot trigger against precision design. Well, it can, but
it's surprising amount of time it does, funnily enough, because sometimes they just haven't drawn that much.
Yeah, but the +1 hand size means they can usually block it. But also the deck is running 6 out of the Ashes, which is just...
Well, that makes it a 39 card deck, so therefore 1 more consistent than Tau.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's on 2 misdirections.
Yeah, Ed. Ian has been banging on about that bloody APOC list. Like, I get messages at fucking 4 a.m. when his kids wake him up, being all like, "Oh, I've brought in another Shaper APOC." I'm like, Ian, I'm asleep. Can you not?
He's keen on it.
He is keen on it, and I'm really happy that he's done so well. I'm not happy he's done so well with Sports Metal Combo. That deck can go die in some kind of hot fire. But
does he when he contacts you at 4 a.m, does he talk about the double misdirection and why he's included that?
no, is he running 2 coffee? That'll probably be because Apocalypse will turn it face down, and he's probably scared of getting hard hitting after the fact.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's he's
really
because there's no SMCs, so it's like I'll just run more breakers instead. Like
you can compile the misdirection.
Then it goes back on the bottom of your deck.
That's not. Yes, that was the.
If you've gone through the whole deck though, and you have only 1 card, then you sort of...
It's a great form of recursion.
Yeah, it's not exile needed.
Sorry, what game were we watching?
We were going to watch Rotage versus Algebraic, but I can't see that they've started the game yet.
No, I don't think they have yet. I'll keep an eye out for it.
So here's an interesting thing. There's, I believe, there's 1 Anarch in the cup.
Yeah,
and like two Anarchs in the cup. I'm completely wrong.
And I think one of them's the Max list, which Pinsel and Lost Geek popularized last week. The Hive Mind Max, which is like, sorry, JNet developers.
Yeah, indeed. But the funniest thing, the thing that really gets me, is that there are 2 Anarchs in the cut, and neither of them are on Hippo. If you'd have had that on a bingo card last year, I don't think you'd have taken that, because you'd be like, it's Anarch. Of course they're going to play Hippo. Hippo is, it's like it is the synonymous. You build Anarch, you put in 3 Hippos. So it's really, I find that very interesting as a kind of, neither of them are planning on doing the, gradual whittling away. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are both on the, right, I will explode into something. Either it's explode into everyone's board state is gone, or explode into, here are 20 cards in your R&D. I want them.
Hippo was almost sort of like a selling point of the faction, kind of one of the reasons you'd play it over Red Crim, I suppose. But these are quite different. I guess they're just completely different decks. They don't blow up your ice. They just make it useless by putting viruses on it.
Yes, absolutely.
In all seriousness, I do like Magnet as a 1 or 2 off in a lot of HB decks at the moment. I know some people think it's like ridiculous or whatever, but I've had quite a lot of useful pulls with Magnet.
Yeah, I've been considering putting Magnet in decks if this Tranquilizer Botulus deck becomes prolific.
It's against Botulus, it's almost like a guard, isn't it? You put it down early on, you put Rashida behind it, and then they try and bypass it with Botulus, and Magnet says no. But like as a gear check, it's, I don't know, it seems pretty fine. Like, it's pretty similar to Enigma. It's actually better against Ingolo and like some stealth rigs and stuff like
3
that.
3 to res, 3 strength, and it grabs a hosted program and blanks it.
Yeah, and it's end the run. So it's just a gear check that's got some utility, I would say.
Also, I suppose Tithonium's like often forgotten about ability has some extra pull at the moment in that cards can't be hosted on it, which I always forget.
Because it's once it's face up as well.
Right. So the Botulus just falls off it once it gets rest. Exactly. That's pretty nice.
The great Paulie G has suggested that this is the moment that Jinteki should get its first wah wah sound effect. I'm more than happy to put that on a t-shirt.
Well, when you Botulus a Tithonium and run it and just it reses,
and it gets res, that is the moment.
The Botulus falls off, your rig gets destroyed.
Yeah. So we've got. So it's actually Rotage's Corp, isn't it? That's
this destroyed me in round 1. Actually,
is it it's an outfit?
It's playing outfit, but I don't think it's the same outfit
Rig Shooter.
you won with last.
No, it's not the same.
So
it's Rig Shooter.
Yeah, it's a Rig Shooter.
Trojan horsed me and then arc locked down my clip. That was it.
I played against an early version of this. It was very interesting.
This looks
kind
similar
of
to
start
the
caring about
list that
breakers
I
again.
played against in the last round.
Mm.
Apart from it's not on all 5/3s. But the last round I got my paperclip like taken away really quickly and slowly had my stuff whittled down, but somehow managed to headlock them and find 6 points in archives, which was like...
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that was insane. You had no business winning. It looked
No,
like.
no. I even
out of the
said like I had no right to win that game. What the fuck just happened? Like literally for the last few turns, I was just diverting, breaking a Horton with bad pub, letting Engram flushes flush an empty hand, and then getting like one access, trying to stop him scoring. And then I eventually got into one credit, so I'm like, I may as well check these 4 face down cards in the bin. Because I kept seeing SDS in hand and couldn't really sack my last breaker to take it. It's like, oh, we'll see if there's anything in the bin. And then like the bin's like, oh, there's 2 city work projects in there. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I win. I really shouldn't have won this game.
Yeah, it was a nice
Is
surprise.
this the kind of list, the outfit list with Trojan Horse and Art Lockdown and being a sort of like I'm the outfit, and if you know Dave at all, then you spend your entire time going, oh no, he's going to flatline. Is this one of these decks that exists and is stronger in a world where you don't know?
I think so, because
like,
I played it round 1. Yeah, I played it round 1 and I had no idea what it was going to be. It was going to be
especially with
or hard hitting.
Like if I played Dave round 1 and he flipped outfit, I would assume he was playing the like send a message list he was playing last week.
Yes.
Early on.
Yes.
He told me that both his lists were different, but I had a hard time believing him because they were the same IDs. So I just
It's like the thing I used to do back in the day where I'd go to 2 store championships which were on the same weekend in like similar towns. So probably the same people, and like take a vegan Blue Sun one day and then a kill deck the next day. Anyway, so this has started with points for both sides quite quickly.
Oh wow, here we go.
Rote's just scoring hostile out of hand turn 1, and Max taking off-world office off the top.
Yes, because you see like that to me is like Dirty Laundry R&D turn 1 against an outfit you do, and it's not gonna punitively, right?
Yeah.
Like, because otherwise, like, that's a huge risk. Like, maybe it's a risk that Ian would have taken anyway. But like,
you've also
turn 1 store off. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say you've also seen the list, so there's no hard hitting news or punitive counter strike. The deck's sort of run punishment is Trojan Horse, which when you've got no programs in play,
you don't need it as much because Max bins the bin breakers anyway. You can just arc lock down them directly.
That is true, and that is always a risk with Max and
sort of not relying. Yeah, she's not relying on them as much anyway to get through ice. Maybe if you can hit the turtle, that could be worthwhile.
Or several of the Botuluses, or
like if Max bins them all, then sure, we'll just arc lock down the whole lot.
So currently at the moment, you could theoretically hit a Black Orchestra, which might help, like make the game at least a little bit more awkward potentially.
Yeah.
You don't have many code gates. You have 2 Hortum, and that's it.
Yeah, so I mean, like, and I don't think you want to be spending your time triple advancing, but like, it's a potential like late game kind of play.
Yeah. So
against.
Sorry,
go on.
I was going to say with this.
Yeah, we're good at this, aren't we?
Street passing problems. I was going to say with this double iced remote and advanced, I think Dave is representing an agenda here, which Algebraic has decided to respect with this Botulus run.
Yeah. Well, it literally can't be anything else. Like, there's nothing advanceable in this deck apart from an agenda.
Oh, okay. The list is in the other window. I assumed there was some. Oh, wow. Yeah.
There's nothing. So he gets this, right? Because there's a Simul chip. So you can get past whatever this ICEs. It's not even being rezzed. Yeah, that's an off-world office.
Oh yeah, because Simulchip can just eat the Botulus and then reinstall it with 2 counters on the next ice.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
There is 2 Tithoniums in the list, so Tithonium would have blocked it.
I did forget that. Yeah. Even though we discussed it like 5 seconds ago, I'd forgotten.
Interestingly, there's 2 corporate troubleshooters in here, which, I guess, is to make Tithorium or archers like subs with outfits ability to print money, like have such a high strength it can't be broken. But with the how prolific Botulus and Boomerang is that going to really happen that often?
No, it's not so hot in this matchup, especially.
Well, just in this meta, it's a classic play from back in the day of I res Archer, I res Troubleshooter, I throw all my wallet into Troubleshooter, your rig gets trashed.
Yeah.
But like with Boomerang and Botulus not caring how strong the ice is, and I guess to a lesser extent Gabali and Kongamoto, which don't really probably see any play now that that Geist has gone.
I mean, it works on a ballista as well, and it is till the end of the turn, I believe. Now
it is until the end of the turn.
Yeah, the turn. So I mean, its combination with border controls quite nicely because you throw all the money in once.
Yeah.
And even like a Hagen, if you're, I mean, it's a good turtle hitter as well, right?
Yeah, it's good for turtle, but you have CVS as well. But this is another way to blow out turtle, or I guess just a crim that's playing like a reg sort of rig that just tries to get in, and then you throw their mat off.
Okay. Oh, yeah. This is so to get through this if they do move the Botulus, they are then going to lose the Botulus afterwards.
Yeah. Depends what you read this as. Then is it an Atlas or just a Rashida or something? Well,
yeah.
Actually, you're going to lose it anyway, aren't you? So I guess.
Yeah, I guess
he's used his Simul chip, which it could have been retained if you didn't want to check this card.
So you break the 2 and the runs, and then the trash program happens.
Yeah.
Lose the Simul chip,
and hope this is an Atlas.
Yeah.
And not something like a Spin Doctor or Rashida, or a Cyberdex Virus Suite.
Well, now's not a bad time, to be fair, to get rid of that.
But that is I mean that
a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Dave got good value out of that with getting rid of the Botulus and the Simul chip.
Yeah. I mean, you could arc lock down 2 Botuli now, presumably.
Probably not, as 2 Simul chips just get two Simul chips just get slammed from the hand, which should probably bring one of those Botulus, or possibly them both back. If you fear the arc lockdown.
Yeah, I think you get one. I think getting one back's a decent shout. I don't think you have to worry about a single other one getting arc locked down.
Yeah, you probably don't. Like, if one gets arc locked down, you're like, well, fine, you don't have that arc locked down.
Yeah, that is true.
So you may be considering just where to put it. Which ice do you put this on?
Yeah.
What ice do you put it on?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Both of them are going to stop you if you don't break them. So
do you put it on the R&D ice?
And just start hammering with conduit if you have it.
Yeah.
Next turn. Yeah, maybe. We'll see what Ian decides. Yep, it's R&D.
I mean,
so it could be a.
I think you assume that there's not, there's nothing in there. Do you know what I mean? Like that, everything is gonna when everything's going to HQ, they're going into server 2.
Yeah. The other thing to note is that Ian did trash a card. Well, accessed and trashed a card, trashed more than one. So Trojan Horse is live if
It is. It's a lot of money.
Well,
you have to get.
It's a trace 5 for 1.
Yeah, but you have to beat them by. It's a trace 4, and you have to beat them by 2. And Rotage is not that rich at the moment.
True.
No. He probably doesn't want to be playing the too big to fails just to do that. So presumably he just to whatever in server 2 and says, all right, you think this one's an atlas? But I don't.
So server
one
2
Rashida.
If it is an atlas, do you know what I mean? Like it's
yeah. So
There's one Rashida left, and otherwise it could be a troubleshooter or a spin doctor.
2 troubleshooters, 2 spin doctors, I think. Does he run 2 or 3?
3, I think.
Okay. So
yeah,
2
3
spin doctors left, or Atlas.
Yeah,
I
it could be an atlas.
Better for Dave here. Like you score and go down to 7 credits. I don't think you feel like good after that. I don't think you feel like
No, it's not a good score. Point. If he drew it though, he may have just put it there just because it's safer, perhaps.
Yeah, because the second that imp appears in Max's hand, there's going to be a run on HQ, right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Tranquilizer on the that's not fun for the.
Yeah, he's not that rich as Dave. When I played him, he had about 30 credits all the time, but this feels a lot poorer.
It was a spin doctor which shuffled in spin doctor and virus suite.
Yeah, that's a good shout. There's the turtle.
Which Fermenter and Simulchip have such good synergy together. I actually thought Fermenter and Hivemind was a bit of a no-go at first, but I misread Fermenter. It doesn't remove the counters off Fermenter to get the credits.
No,
you just install it and gain like 10 credits straight away.
Okay, now I'm confused.
Okay, so the ice is going to go face down.
He could res it again.
He can res it again and have 3 credits left.
Okay, yeah.
Does he run Virus Suite? Is that not Virus Suite?
Yeah.
Sandbox rather.
Yes, I believe so. This is probably that.
So I'm guessing he's just leveraging all his bets on scoring a sandbox here.
Risky though, isn't it? Like it wouldn't take much, I don't think, for Ian to get into this remote. He can obviously break one ice with the Simul chip. So the question is, does he have a solution for the other?
So looking at the bin, there's still only 1 watches in there. So maybe there's like a theory of
he's ignoring it.
Another Bostulus has to go on that ballista.
Yeah.
At which point I trash whatever is.
And the first card Conduit finds is CVS.
That's that has helped a lot.
That is.
You got it out of the way, but yeah, it's
that is brutal. It cleared. It reset Tranquilizer. It cleared 4 counters off Botulus, and essentially just stole the extra accesses from Conduit. Oh, and cleared the Fermenter, which had.
Yeah, the Fermenter is huge, right?
Yeah, because he's really broke.
Yeah, the Fermenter lost 3 counters or 4, but it lost a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
It was a risky line because, like, if you run R&D and you miss, and then assuming Dave scores a sandbox, it kind of just it resets all of that anyway. It looks like he hasn't. He's played the. He's
played restructure and then single advanced it. So
again.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think he's working on the assumption that the Bulwark is strong enough.
Yeah.
Or that the steel works out for him, right? Because something's got to break the ballista, which is probably a Botulus.
Yeah.
At which point you can put it so that there are 3 Botuli in the
So I think this Wildcat Strike with how poor Algebraic is just cards that they can't use.
Yeah.
Although David's thinking about it, I'd be really hard pressed to find a good reason to give them the credits here with them being on 2.
Yeah, I agree. You give the cards. I've realised the other 2 Botuli are in the bin, aren't they?
He gave the credits.
Oh wow! Okay.
I'd be fascinated to know why in future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perhaps. Yeah, I don't know. Is there some solution?
Is
he
gambling on?
Is it?
So 2 Botulus are in the bin. That's the thing. So you can't draw into a Botulus.
Is Dave scared of them finding Rebirth and going into R&D through archives?
It's in the bin as well. Rebirth's in the bin.
Oh.
Rebirth's in the bin.
I'm not sure why they give them the money when they were on 2 credits then.
No, there's the money
It's done
again. So
Yeah.
he's certainly afraid of something being found.
That's fascinating.
Is it? Oh, maybe hive minds, because none of them have appeared in the game so far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, hive mind is obviously a good thing, but I mean, you're going to draw it pretty soon as max anyway, presumably.
I guess like you'd be on 0 credits though, right? Wouldn't you? Or no, you'd be down at 2.
Well, they had 2 credits when they played after they played the first Wildcat Strike, so they'd be on 0 to install the hive mind.
It's not going to get you into the remote though, is it? The hive mind.
No.
Whereas this actually does.
No, I presume the fear is maybe the fear is hive mind and attacking R&D, and it's paper thin enough.
So he's going to get in regardless of whether the bulwark gets rezzed or not. Got to trash a program.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
To steal the agenda, it's well worth it. Fermenter goes in the bin.
And so he'll just use the paperclip to cast if it gets rezzed.
So what is this? A sandbox? Yeah. So he's probably going to regret not having scored that before.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I turned away for like 2 seconds, and how did they get through the
Clippy, and then put the botulus on the baluster, so just gets in.
Yeah, I feel like giving the runner like 12 credits sort of enabled that.
Yeah,
also, I think Rotage was a bit greedy, slow rolling it for. I assume because the CVS got hit and there was no counters to purge, he.
I think so.
Thought it was safe and just wanted to score it next turn, but was the greed got a bit real.
Didn't work out.
Yeah. Maybe it's one of those things where, like, maybe it's one of those things where, with the runner on 4 points, like, if he scores it, gets up to 7 points, his theory is, yes, it's more risky to wait a turn, but it's the only way I win, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I go up to 3 points here, like, I'm still going to lose. Whereas if I manage to get this out after a turn where I've got my money up, that's the only direction in which I win. I can understand that logic, that, it's less likely to score the agenda, but
there's the Atlas sneak.
Yep.
The Atlas sneak.
Clean Atlas. Does this deck run any 5/3s, or is it all 2 pointers? 2 pointers.
Okay.
Yeah. So you need 2 more.
So two more versus
2
one
more
more.
Regardless.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough from here. Max has run out of deck, but I assume we've got labour rights available.
So they used 1 labour rights. There are no labour rights in the bin that I can see.
No. So they run 3 presumably. So there's 2 in hand. Yeah. Okay.
There's only 1 hive mind in the bin, and the decks usually run 2. I say usually run. We actually have the deck lists somewhere.
Yeah. We're just guessing at what might be going on. There's 2 progenitors in the bin, or 3 progenitors in the bin.
It is just the standard hive mind max. So yeah.
It's got the Wildcat Strikes, which I know they were experimenting with. But I think it was in the. I don't think it was in the list that was 1st, 4th, 6th, 7th, 10th, and 14th for early bird.
Okay.
I don't think so. Anyway, maybe wrong about that.
Okay, well, there's another labour rights.
Yeah. To get back rebirth, Simulchip,
and Knobkiri.
Fair enough.
This is rebirth into Omar, which
makes a ton of sense.
Doesn't give you extra access. Oh, with Conjuring. Yeah. Okay. That looked to be going fine for Rotage. I'm really not sure I'm giving the runner the 2 money triggers from the Wildcat Strikes when there was an agenda that you was trying to slow roll.
Yeah. I think we're assuming. I think he was just not happy with what it was going to look like if he scored the sandbox straight away. He wanted to play the restructure before doing it. Perhaps he thought his board state was just not that good
That-
if he scored the sandbox.
That's fine. Like I get that. Depending on what the ice was on R&D, like they've dropped a conduit. You got a little saving grace that they hit the CVS, but he did ice up, restructure, and advance. So it was here's some extra insurance or coverage against just conduit winning the game.
Yeah,
but
I will ask him at some point.
Yeah,
because I think his answer will be very interesting, but I don't have it at the moment.
That's fair. So I believe that's Dave out of the event.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Yep.
He had already lost a game, presumably.
So do we have any games still going? We have Ian's game still going. I
I'm
think.
just looking in on that. Yeah, it's looking. We're on 5-4 to the runner. We've got a complete Vacheron that's had all the tokens taken off.
Yeah, we're in now. There's no ice on the corp side of the field.
No, of course not. What were you expecting?
A big hand size from. In fact, let's do this. Oh, Spin Doctor.
Yeah. Oh, here we are.
So
we're just trying
two
to...
superconducting hubs. Make a big hand size. What is his max hand size? His max hand size is 9.
Does the deck play? Does he play Vitruvius or anything, or is it all one pointers?
It's all one pointers. The 2-pointer in the deck is a Mega Pre qualifier.
Yeah, sure.
So it's 3 Vacherons, 3 Mega Pre, 3 conducting hubs, 3 Hyperloop, and then false leads for some reason.
Oh, there's one.
Oh,
Mega Pre, and he's got one more access with
that's all 3 Mega Pre's gone, and the one in Ian's score area is sadly only worth 1 point.
Sees one more card due to the Docklands. Oh no, he must have. He's run HQ already.
Yeah. Cards and then...
Oh, there we are. Very nice.
Well, that's you don't usually see Red Crim take out those.
Yeah, Ian said he got punished for the misplay. I'm guessing him rezzing the Spin Doctor probably put a non-agenda that was on top and then an agenda that was underneath it into his hand.
Right, okay. Yeah. I presume it looks like there was a legwork early that very much dealt with. It's probably what we call the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they're talking.
That's what you always want, isn't it, against this deck? You want to get the Vacheron
get Vacheron early and then let it tick down before you start stealing more stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I know Ian will probably take that a little hard because, well, he always does. But yeah,
return to the studio and throw things at the wall.
But no, if he did draw an agenda by rezzing the Spin Doctor, that wouldn't have been stolen in an R&D run and then lost because it got sniped out of hand.
It's not a misplay necessarily.
Yeah, I suppose it's not.
You know, like sometimes like bad things happen, but like they're not your fault, right? You know, in life and in Netrunner.
Yeah,
you know,
I guess there just wasn't any reason to res the Spin Doctor against a single access and R&D unless you knew that it was there's an agenda on top. But
you could argue it brings more agendas into the game overall, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I follow your logic.
He's still in with a chance anyway. He's still in the lower brackets. Finals.
He will play the winner of the next game, which will be between. So I think we are on the point where there's just one game going on now.
Yeah, Algebraic and Mendax are playing. Mendax is running.
Okay.
So these are both the government takeover decks, aren't they?
Yep. Mendax is playing a Steve Cambridge list. So there was 2 Steves in the cut. which is good.
Yeah.
Good old Steve. So this is just purely called good stuff, Steve. It looks kind of like a bit of a prepaid Steve. It has Mystic Miami, 3 DreamNet, which is seems
really
very all in. Sec testing, Boomerang, Penny Shaver, Docklands Pass, Jailbreak, Embezzle, Diversion of Funds, Juices Wild, Dirty Laundry, Bravado, Mutual Favour, True Gamble.
The Tapworms is the one that,
so Tapworms good in Steve, even with all the purge thing, because you can make them waste so much time by them just constantly trying to purge it, and you go like, I get this Tapworm or this Tapworm back.
Yeah, that is a very fun play to do, but not a very fun play to be on the other side of.
And it's
it can be very annoying.
But it can fork them as like, do I skip another turn or do I let the runner have 4 credits?
It's very strong. I mean, obviously, it's a bit double-edged sword, isn't it? Because if they score a sandbox, suddenly...
Yeah, there's been plenty of times when I've dropped a Tapworm down and then they've just, like, precision... seamless launched out the sandbox, and it's like, oh, yeah, like, what did I really expect was going to happen?
But yeah, it can be annoying. It's interesting, he's only playing 1 of each breaker.
One of each breaker and 2
else.
mutual favour. I'd say there's no recursion, but I mean, Steve is recursion, but yeah, if you go, I want my breaker back, or something else, they're going to give you the something else.
Yeah,
it's also on Ngolo, not Anima.
Yeah, so I assume that's because you have only 1 of each breaker. You just need that extra.
You need the
ability to not get
sort
gear
of
checked.
rig in a box that is Ngolo. Also, as much as I like Anima and how it helps with the headlock plan, it is such a pain to install at 7 credits.
That 7 is... I can't tell you how many games I've had of just having it right from the start in hand and just thinking, gosh, this is so annoying. You can't discard it, but you don't want to install it either. It just sits there. It's like a brain damage, isn't it? It's like having 1 brain damage because it reduces your effective hand size.
Apparently this is the Battle of Bristol, according to chat, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
And yeah, like there's been so many games when I've... why are you in the corpse seat? Patrick, you've been eliminated from the event.
There we are. I clicked the wrong button.
I'll let Room play. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, there's been so many games when I'm going like, right, I need to start putting pressure on, need to get through this gatekeeper. It's time to install this Anima and break, code gates with it. And just that 7 cost, just I go from being rich to, oh, where's my money?
Yeah. I mean, especially with games that are ending on turn 11 at the moment.
Yeah.
We've very much been a demonstration of the experience, the speed of the game. As I see it at the moment, like, I think some people might disagree, but, we were like, oh, quick, go to that one. Oh, that's an ad. Yeah, there we go. And the fact that we're, how many rounds into this cut? And, it's 7:30, no one's asleep.
Yeah, so there's this game. So after this game, the winner plays Ian, and then the winner of that is in the grand final. So there's this round and 2 or 3 more, depending on if the who just beat Ian.
They meet at last.
Okay, yeah. If they lose the first game or not.
So I mean, this is quite interesting because obviously, Mendex is probably more familiar with the game plan than like nearly anyone else at this tournament now.
Yeah, because they were playing the exact same deck.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's for a while he's played quite a lot of decks that are, this is my route to win. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not one of those, maybe I'll hard-hitting news, maybe I'll punitive, maybe I'll all that kind of stuff. Not these like multi-right. It's like, no, I will win by scoring a government takeover, chaoticking first, and all those kind of things. And like he's very good at that sort of thing. So like as Steve, like what's the I'll be interested to see what he does to try and like mess with that. I
So-
presume that's what like maybe
sure.
the two
So
embezzles are
DreamNet
there for.
without Link is just a John Masanori without the drawback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a John Mass. It's a nice card to have from the start.
I just couldn't imagine putting 3 in a deck.
No, it's pretty heavy. He must really like drawing DreamNet.
You must really want
Yeah.
it down turn 1.
Yeah.
But I mean, this run is now 2 more cards in hand.
Yeah.
I think. Oh wait, or is he already run this turn? Oh, he's already run this turn. All right.
No, he's got a DreamNet draw and
He can get a gamble back.
Steve.
Oh, there's a food. Okay.
Yeah.
And a boomerang back in the stack. I'm so
Yeah.
glad JNet's doing all that work for me rather than like having to like physically move the cards around.
It's interesting to note the embezzle in this deck. So, in terms of a game plan against this, you could embezzle away the Biotic or the Red Planet Couriers. It's also relevant for Spombo, which could be a thing in the next round.
The problem with Spombo is I don't think you can keep Game Changer down that much anymore because of Spin Doctor.
Yeah, it's a temporary measure. You try and hit the archive memories, you could trash the game changers normally anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like an amazing counter-tech against it. It's unreliable, but it could be relevant against this or Spombo.
So what's interesting there is like he's running a bit more than I think we've seen like others do, like to try and like force reses. At least that like forces the mass comms to be played. Which like now there's 2 cards in hand, which presumably like if you don't have to play the mass comm, you just like keep it, right? Because you just go, it's a thing they can hit.
So this looks like Rob's just going to take the tag here and access.
Yeah,
From
he
R&D.
just wants accesses.
Yeah, well,
Just taking as many accesses as possible.
well, there's a 6-point agenda like lurking somewhere in the deck.
Which instantly wins you the game.
Could be the win. Any 1 in 34. It could end the game.
Yeah.
I like those odds.
Could be in hand already.
It could be, but there is only 2 cards in hand.
Yeah.
And also, the Pharos did get rezzed when Algebraic was quite poor. Granted, the advanced Mascom, which with BTL's ability is a lot of money. But yeah, rezzing to cover R&D like that says to me that it's not in hand, and they're worried about just losing the game at this deep in the tournament to a random
I agree.
access of it.
It's almost definitely not in hand yet. I do like this for the Corp, though. He's got lots of money, and I think you're going to be able to limit the number of accesses. Like, you can put another ice on R&D, hopefully pretty soon, and I think Steve's going to be banging his head against a brick wall quite soon.
It's not the kind of deck that Crims love, I don't think, because you have exactly that issue of I can make all these money from these guns, and then you're at ACON.
Yeah, without like an early diversion, I think. I mean, even with an early diversion, it can like
bounces back.
BTL with. I mean, yeah, you say Clip's in the bin, but now the Pharos is 10 strength.
Yeah, I was going to suggest probably advancing it just to stop any easy ways in.
So that costs
now
Clip 9 to get through, which is
you have to boomerang it really. Boomerang is your
change.
Yeah.
And now it only needs like 2 more advancement counters for the combo. You don't need that many ice on the table if you're willing to like 2 advancements.
Interestingly enough, this Steve deck doesn't run Sneak Door Beta.
Yeah. I think that's potentially a problem here. I mean, it's not a win button by any stretch because like.
But it's just like because Steve's ability is so powerful, Corpse will tend to like shove you ice HQ against Crims anyway because of diversion and to a lesser extent legwork. But Corpse, in my experience, tend to also really double down on the HQ icing, and a well-timed Sneak Door can just completely undo that.
Yes, yeah. Certainly with emergency shutdown or similar, or drop the
even just like
search card here.
Yeah, even just getting Steve's ability to get econ back through sneak door when you sort of back is against the wall just feels nice. That is security testing's new art.
Yep.
Very nice.
So that's not going to be great, I guess. Right now, you can play it on archives.
On archives, so you spend 2 to get in and get 2 back on a card and a penny shaver credit.
There is a bad pub as well, so it's worth doing. I mean, until this happens.
I mean, clearly we're going to advance the Aket to make it 5 strength and only 1 sub-breakable.
Yeah.
So the win is, it's worth noting, the win is on now. Anytime the combo is found, it can be done.
And Algebraic definitely has the 9 credits needed to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult to know what to suggest. What do you do here as Steve? Do you just try and take like those 1 or 2 accesses and try and get lucky?
Yeah,
I don't know if you have much of a build-up plan here. Like, it's going to take so long to find the whole rig and have enough money to use it.
I presume if he's drawing for anything, he's drawing for those embezzles we talked about. But
yeah,
it's getting in, like
getting in looks like a challenge. You don't have any way past the Hortum, and you don't know what the. I think we do know what the other ice is, actually, don't we? I think it's an Aket.
I think
it was exposed.
Did he not expose the Aket on archives?
No, the log says Aket on HQ as well, so they're both Aket.
Fair enough. So you know that's not fully advanced Aket. So finding a boomerang and embezzle is a good line.
Or just running it and getting 2 accesses now that you've got the Dockland.
Yeah, chat thinks that Ian already has this locked up unless Rob pulls something amazing.
I think, it's looking really grim, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's advanced Aket, so now HQ is not it's not cheap even if you find the boomerang.
So you've got the clip, so it's 4 to break Aket, and then boomerang is just boomerangs the Hortum.
So you could do it. You could do it in theory if you.
I guess your hope is to try and get in and embezzle and hit the red planet.
But do you even embezzle? Do you just go? You know what? The odds of me hitting the red planet are about as good as me hitting a government takeover. So, you know what?
Maybe.
I'll just go for the 2 accesses because if I successfully embezzle, I've still got to find a way to win. Whereas if I happen to just yoink, and
you might be right. You try and hit the government takeover. I think maybe the second dice on R&D suggests that the Gote is not in hand yet.
Yeah, that's a fair point. The fact that there was a bunch of drawing going on, you have to choose your moment, obviously, but.
I guess the other thing is just to take single accesses. They're expensive on.
I think that's it.
No, this looks like a hostile.
Yeah, that's the hostile.
So you can take single accesses on R&D and just pray that you get the lucky hit, the 1 in 26. This is looking like a jailbreak.
He's doing it on HQ. Yeah, so he's going to see 3 from the hand.
But so this would feel to me the wrong moment to do it because, if it had all been in hand at that point, surely now is the not the moment.
I guess Rob's expecting the takeover to be in hand without the rest of the combo.
Of course, yes, that makes perfect sense.
It's possible, but I don't think it will have been in hand when he iced R&D. So unless he's drawn it, after doing that.
Yeah. Also, I guess you can get into HQ and get the Steve trigger where you have no idea what's on R&D.
Sure. Yeah. That makes sense. I suppose there's always the give me a. It might be give me a bravado or give me a sure gamble or something like that. So.
Yeah, and yes, the 10 strength Pharos is very pleasing. Just a absolute brick wall in front of R&D. So wall to wall NGO. Oh, and red planet.
It's not what you want to see.
No, it's not, is it?
Not at all.
Draws 2 cards, gains 3.
Tapworm, sure.
Goes down, yeah.
That's fair enough.
But as Ian, if you don't combo out, you just purge.
Just purge. Yeah, you're slowing him down from trying to draw into the combo, basically.
Yeah, at least he can't spend the entire turn going, gimme, gimme, gimme.
Yeah.
So, chat mentioned that the jailbreak on HQ also gives some embezzle information if Rob was thinking about trying to knock out the...
This might be the plan right now, actually.
Yeah.
You can see whether it's there or not.
Oh no, it's a doof.
I'm not sure I like this. It doesn't seem to do anything. That's
the corpse too rich.
It's costing Rob a net of 4 to do, giving the corp 1 and using the boomerang. Like, other than the Steve proc and the DreamNet proc, Rob's actually like more poor after this, and the corp is just too rich to care.
Maybe it's like give me jailbreak or tap one. Either I'm going to get more accesses next time I have a go, or I'm going to get some more money now.
You say next time he has a go, but he currently, other than the boomerang that just got used, has no way of breaking the Horton.
No, that's the current. That is the current solution for Horton.
Sure.
I'm not sure what they got back
ice.
Because the log in spectator mode doesn't actually tell you what Steve picks.
Nope.
It just says Steve Cambridge removed blank from the game. So Dan got removed from the game.
Removed. We don't know what went back.
Yeah.
There's another.
Oh, an ice on HQ. So that's either to stop the embezzle, or it telegraphs that the takeover is in there and not the biotic.
Yeah, it could mean anything. I think I would use an ice on HQ rather than R&D, because R&D looks a lot more secure.
Yep.
At the moment. Bravadoing through this Hackett.
Like for the credits and cards, but it really does look like grasping at straws slightly.
This is usually what I do as Crim when I'm losing a game, just like bravado through, try and hit something. But usually it's on R&D, but same principle.
So presumably that's the Angola.
Oh, mutual to get Angola.
One more go.
Yeah, so now you've got a bit more breaking power. You've got 2 bad pub to go with it. So depending on what the HQ ice is, it might be possible to get in.
It is now, right? Because,
yeah, so you don't care about the corp
better
gaining. It is over advanced, but do you care about them gaining 4 credits when they already have 24?
Well, the Horton will let you search for cards as well, I think.
Oh, I mean,
yeah, no, you break that.
You break the one that lets you search
run?
cards
is
end the run. So the first one is just gain 4 credits. With the corp already on 24, and you're probably not going to tax them out to the point they can't combo out. I think you just save your credit and not break that.
Oh yeah. No defense, there's a lot of text on Horton. Yeah,
there is a lot of text on Horton, and as a thank you to the artists, Nick chose Horton as the full art card we wanted to make for her, and the text box on it is huge. like to say it, I think it's the biggest text box I've ever seen on a promo.
This is a nice line from Steve.
I really like this line.
Yeah, so they're going to see 3 cards.
3 cards. It could well be in hand by now.
It feels like it. It's not inconceivable. Like when you've got 23 left in R&D, is it about 50-50 that you've drawn it by this point? I think.
Yeah.
Card deck, right?
Slightly. So there's 44 cards to start with. So yeah, just slightly below 50%. I think.
But So 50% of the time, this will work.
Every time.
3 out of 5 of the times. I think.
But it's a good shout, given that you're not in a
definitely.
great situation.
Yeah, definitely,
a chance to maybe just win here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's a solid play, and I think it's rightly done.
Macrophage, Unitive,
and then
No dice.
That probably is his last, or like one of the last rolls.
Yeah, it's
You
one
get
of the
two
last.
more accesses on. Do you go
can-
for issue again next time?
Maybe you could also get into R&D if you have a boomerang for the Pharos. I'm sure you
Yeah.
can break whatever the outer is within Golo and then
Yeah.
take a tag. So you can always get one more, but
Yeah.
it's coming down to that. He's
Yeah.
advancing something. I can see what. Oh, the outer ice on R&D.
Yeah, I assume that's could be a Colossus, which would be
Quite annoying.
yeah.
So he's strength 7 at that point, so it's a double.
Yeah,
boost
so
for
it's
Golo.
annoying for Ngolo.
It doesn't end the run even if it is trip advance though.
True, but you lose your Angolo, which I think you need, right?
Yeah, but if you're at the point where it's just a desperate, I need to access one card to see if I win.
Sure. Yeah. That's fair.
He will get that at some point.
Yeah.
He will
Chat
get
is saying that
last.
Rob is the architect of this BTL deck, and it'll be sad if he loses to it.
I think it'll be just desserts, actually. So, yeah. No, it's all decks will work. But there is something about losing to one's own creation. I assume there's no happening.
You mean you've never had anyone play Jemison against you?
People have played Jemison against me, but they're never playing my.
Okay.
Oh no, that did happen. That happened to me once. To be fair, I do. Like randomly on JNet. I was so excited. But generally, it doesn't happen to me in like real life because no one's net decking that.
Do you make like quite high up in Worlds in 2019 with like 74 card max?
You were on the bubble, weren't you? You could have made the cut.
I was
with
on
that,
the bubble.
Yeah.
With the Jemison got more attention because actually it got played at Polish Nationals as well. So that was around on JNet for a little bit as well.
I just remember your Jemison game on stream when you blanked Street Peddler to stop them being able to draw.
Yeah, that was very fortunate that they didn't.
Classic play.
That they didn't just pop it going in.
Yeah, well, yeah, indeed. But thankfully,
We have
you can rely on
even.
So more centrals are ice. So it does look like Algebraic is just hedging the I'm going to draw takeover at some point, and I have the combo pieces in hand.
Maybe it's on the bottom of the deck. There's no tutoring or anything for agendas, is there? No, there isn't.
The only one in the game at the moment that I can think of
is being apologised to. Yes.
Fast Track's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say there's DLR.
You can install it.
Not DLR. I don't mean DLR.
I know what you mean. DRM.
DRM.
And then you just hope.
Like you install it, put the counters on them. Oh, I can't score it.
You're not allowed to score. DRM's like got the same as seamless launch, has the kind of you can't interact with each other or something.
So he scored another hostile, so there's 3 bad pub now.
Yeah.
So there is still the chance of,
which is making
even through all this ice on R&D,
this Aket slightly more palatable to go through because it's what now? 4 to break, but 3 of it is bad pub, and you get 2 back.
Curious about why score the other 2 hostiles out of interest? Like, what's the gain for you?
I think he might be just scared that Rob's gonna take them, and then some GFIs like the other GFIs could be in the bin for all we know.
Right.
The first one the second one might have been about money. I can't remember what the money situation was. This third one obviously wasn't needed for money.
Oh yeah, it also means that Rob has to find the government takeover. They can't find the hostile and the 2 other things.
Yeah.
Right, so now we've got the embezzle play. But it's just that thing of like 3 credits per run feels like it might be helping a bit.
Yeah.
Enough. You know what I mean? It might be the difference.
Takes a bit of the edge off. That's a Colossus. Yeah. Oh, it's boomeranged though. That's all right.
Yeah. Chat thinks that one of the face downs in archives is the takeover, and the corp's looking for a spin doctor to put it back into the deck.
Wow. That
Well, when you're watching a game with RPC, you have to make your own fun. So I applaud chat for that.
That's that'd be such a like so brave. And I mean, I used to put government takeover in the bin when punitive like Blue Sun was a thing, but you know Jackson meant that they usually didn't win.
Yeah.
It's only there if you want it to be, right?
Yeah.
If we get a good embezzle here.
I just remember
Imagine
like
if
a
you,
local player who doesn't play much anymore or at all anymore, like Dirty Laundry and Archives on Click 3, and I used Jackson and shuffled I think like some atlases back or whatever. And flipped over takeover, and he's all like, "Oh, amazing, excellent, glorious!" And then just the realization of what was happening sort of slowly crept over his face.
Yeah. Oh no. I'll reveal the food, but gets rid of the biotic.
Get rid of biotic. That is relevant.
Yeah.
That's really handy.
So that means almost certainly the Gote is not in hand because there's biotic and.
Oh, and we have seen the red planet. Also, did the biotic
right.
get trashed? They did say.
Yeah, it got embezzled. Yeah. So we're sprinting now.
Time, to go and get something. Presumably.
So the foods are interesting. The foods are interesting because they're completely irrelevant for the runner winning, but they could help you land a punitive in the right situation.
They're also irrelevant for the corp now, right? They need to score both foods to win.
That would be an interesting.
There was an Oxford player who played an RPC for a long time, and he did sometimes like score out both foods by doing the combo twice if he'd stolen the government takeover. They're long games.
Okay, yeah.
I played what's the deck? The Wayland deck that pings you whenever you hit an ice with an advancement counter.
Builder of Nations.
Yeah, and there was one game when I think I sort of behind you could get through anyway. I ended up Red Planet carrying an Atlas with like 7 counters on it.
We finally stopped that play because someone came down and brought back in the days where currents were allowed before the fun police stopped the currents. Someone brought down an itinerant protesters deck and spent their whole time giving them so much bad pub it was literally impossible to hold the entire combination in hand.
Yeah, that was one of the first decks I played against when I came back to the game after Mumbad was like itinerant protesters, Val, and it's like, oh, your maximum hand size is 0, so you got no cards in hand, so I'm going to draw a card off Vigil. I'm like, this is horrible.
Very rude.
But the problem with it being a current is as soon as you score anything, the current goes.
Yeah, no, indeed. It was quite funny that they would score a hostile to clear the current, but that just made the problem worse because it was.
There we
go.
go.
We got it.
Looks like it's happening.
It's been found.
24 advancement counters on government takeover there for those who wanted to have the.
It's an over-advanced government takeover.
Yeah. So had that been an Atlas, you would have been able to specifically draw the rest of your deck as a hilarious way to concede. If you wanted.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's Rob out of the event by his own creation.
Yeah. His own hand. Yeah.
But yeah, that really did seem like it was just a point when is the court going to draw the takeover?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I think that's a fair.
Do wonder if Rob, when he started getting money back, should have challenged R&D a bit more with those jailbreaks just to see 2 cards and hope to find. But I guess there is always the looming threat as well that if you find a GFI, you just die to punitive. But
I presume the reason he didn't was he didn't have quite enough money to break Pharos.
Yeah, the 10 strength Pharos is quite 9 for clip is one of the most
taxing for clip, isn't it?
Yeah, as you said, the most efficient Fractor as well, costing it 9. So we have Harvey against Algebraic, Ian against Ian, and Ian off.
Ian off.
So one Ian will be on.
Is Ian the new Chris?
One Ian will be on Apocalat, and the other Ian will be on BTL again. So again,
this again.
The Apocalypse game against the against like a game where you actually want your ice, because not only does it keep the runner out, it is your combo battery.
Yeah, but we sort of saw this. We saw this matchup before, didn't we? For those who've been watching a long time, obviously we saw the Alice.
Yeah.
It was Swifty on Alice against Rob on this deck. I believe it was Rob.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, but I think Swifty sort of fell back after the wonton because he was afraid of getting punitived out the game.
Yes. Yeah.
Chat said that if that was a Beal that had been red planeted, it would have been worth 14 points.
I love chat. Thank you, chat. I needed that in my life. How many cards would have been trashed had it been what's the card I'm thinking of? The HB one.
Oh, Project Ares, is it?
Yes, Project Ares.
The psychographics thing in custom biotics that people used to do.
Is it worth 2 wins if you score 14 points? Well,
yeah, you just go straight to the grand final.
Just straight to the grand final. Yeah.
The custom biotics Psycho Ares list was such a weird deck. I mean, Project Ares is such a weird card anyway.
Yeah, it was very odd.
And I really don't understand what they thought was going to happen.
Something, and I can't remember. Yeah.
Like they reprinted it in revised core, and I don't understand why.
Because
is it just because they didn't want to reprint accelerated beta test?
Possibly, yeah. Because that was a very odd card in its way. I loved playing that card. But
also, ABT has that infamous ruling from Coop, and I ran a lot of events with Coop, us both being like the head judges, and
sure, yeah.
He's really good at running events, and like I don't really want to say anything bad with him, but the ruling he gave to Dan Diagino on ABT was absolute like crap. Basically, it was. I think Dan revealed the cards that you meant to look at with ABT, and Coop ruled to shuffle them back in and redo the ABT.
Yes.
It was a bit strange.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, it was my first tournament, my first live.
Is that really the
Euro 17? Yeah, that was when I appeared.
I was at that event, but I was at the other side of the tournament hall running Force of Will UK Nationals, where we had no table numbers, no printer.
Excellent.
Wow.
It was quite the shambles of an event.
Was 2017 the one in was it Liverpool?
It was in UKGA. The Liverpool one was Nationals 2017, I believe.
It was, I remember.
Possibly Nationals 2016. Maybe in both.
No, it was 17.
Okay, I remember working Nationals 2016 because I remember Jono and Joey were doing a stream, and I had to tape down all their cables because they're trip hazards. And when they left, they just grabbed the extension that we'd lent them, pulled it up off the ground, which caused the gaffer tape to mummify around the cable, unplugged their stuff and left. And I was given the task of unpicking this gaffer tape with a knife.
Wow.
I remember this story because I think you told it on last week's stream as well.
Yeah, it's... I mean, I find it funny now, but I was kind of annoyed at the time.
Yeah, you probably weren't happy at the time.
Because it took me about 2 hours to unpick the bloody... Because the thing with gaffer tape is it tends to... it's very hard to get undone when it sticks to itself.
Yeah, it doesn't like it. It does not like it.
Anyway,
yeah, they are.
The players have sat down. We have Ian 1 on Apocalat versus Ian 2 on Government Takeover BTL.
How did you decide which was Ian 2 then?
Because the runner's at the top of the screen.
Oh, fair enough. Well recovered.
But Ian's needing numbers. It's a sign that Yeah, Ian's and the new Chris's. I'm telling you, it's happening.
Because I usually think of the Corp as the first player, but
Okay,
there's
yeah.
no sort of good reason for it.
Well, they go first, so I guess they're like white in chess in that respect.
That's it, yeah. And then in chess, you do sometimes hear people refer to the first or second player.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just a straightforward non-spicy lap deck.
Yeah, nothing going on.
Non-spicy lat. If the like Apocalypse, as it called, this has so much spice in it. Like Starbucks are selling it as a seasonal one-off.
Yeah.
Amazing.
If there are any Apex cards in this deck, it must be Harbinger.
I think there's Harbinger in it.
Oh, is there? Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
it actually is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Fair enough.
It doesn't.
Because you're on 3 ASOPs anyway, so like. Again,
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah, you do
Yeah.
play Harbin to recover after the opponent.
yeah, okay, yeah, of course. Apocalypse is also an Apex card. I forget that.
Yes.
I just think Apocalypse is neutral for some reason.
Yeah, it's just neutral 3 influence card.
Yeah.
So
Very
the Corp
weird
has
playing
iced.
Apex and not playing influence for
Pretty sensible.
Apocalypse. But then you find yourself paying influence for for a thing else.
Yeah, I mean, like Apex also just wants to install lots and lots of stuff, so the Apocalypse seems really odd to be in. Well, it's thematic that it's in Apex, but it doesn't fit their playstyle at all.
It is tricky. I have played against a lot of Apex that just don't run it, and you're like, but do you? Okay.
I think when I played like Spy Camera Apex for a while, I had one Apocalypse, which was sort of the everything's gone wrong. Time to play this card.
Alright, so you're just on like Reavers and all that kind of stuff, and like hope that somehow you have a really efficient engine.
Oh yeah, it's usually Spy Camera for me because you sat the Spy Cams at the end of their turn and then do Chopbot on your turn and you get Reaver and Wasteland triggers twice.
Yes.
Patrick probably remembers that deck.
Yeah, I remember playing against it actually. I think it was quite early on, perhaps when we were still at Travelling Man.
Yeah, it was December 2017 or January 2018 when I played it.
Yeah, something like that.
Like,
well, this deck only has 2 APOC.
Yeah.
That's cool. 2 clippies, 2 paper clips, 2 APOC. That's wild.
Discarding the VR-cation is interesting. That feels to me like
bad card. Just discard it. Yeah, bad card.
I think it's so. Ian has told me that he doesn't like playing VR-cation when his hand's already quite full because he just feels like he has to think a lot about what to pitch. So I can see discarding the VR-cation, especially if the corp's constantly having 5 cards in hand, giving you extra draw.
True.
Yeah, I've never quite got on with the card, but I guess the synergy here is that if you overdraw and you hit out of the ashes, you just bin them straight away. That's where you want them, so that's a lot better.
Yeah, that is true.
You're not under time pressure either, really, are you? Like, you know what the game plan is. You know that they will
you know
score.
that you have to...
literally can't score it yet.
Yeah. Like, you're pretty sure you have to possibly APOC when they have 9 counters in play, but before then, you can just
chill.
Just dawdle along, basically.
Keep getting distracted by the new ASOPs because I think it looks like a happy little face. If you look at it, you've got like the 2 eyes. The 2 lights, and then there's the little mouth beneath. And I'm wondering whether, like in like Nisei now, ASOPs is in fact just a happy little like window that you like just put your thing in its mouth and it goes nom nom, and then like 3 credits like just come out elsewhere.
So Duncan also put a really like bad pun in the Apex art, which makes me smile every time, which is the staff are armed. Because Apex has because Apex has that metal arm, and his original flavor text is all like, "If you want to leave, don't ask him about your arm, his arm."
Nice.
Oh yeah,
it's very good.
So an Out of the Ashes got pitched. I think several have been.
Just
probably
the one. Just one, and a compile.
But as like. I think if you are ETL over here, you're not feeling good about how rich the runner is, right? Because like all it's going to take is here come the breakers, and like it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can even compile to an extent to get yourself in, can't you?
Indeed, yeah.
So, see, if I was playing this corp, I would put border control in it, and maybe that's wrong because it's not advanceable.
Yeah, it doesn't have border control, which I think we discussed earlier, which means that
we did.
As long as the runner has money, that apocalypse is just inevitable.
Yeah.
There is only 2 copies of APOC, so it is also possible that Ian doesn't have it yet.
It is, but as the corp having to just play around that, not knowing whether they do or not, is difficult.
There are 3 out of ashes in the bin as well. So
I think maybe the game plan is to just absorb one, because like there's no triple advancing going on. It's all just like single advancing, right? So it's like try and get like your money up and as high up as possible. Absorb 1 APOC and then go back again. Like
we saw in round 1.
Maybe it's going to be slow if you win that way though, and the runner actually has more money than you at the moment.
I guess there's also the thing where you pitch like 2 GFIs and hope to just punitive them out when you go to do the APOC run.
Could have done it already, yeah.
Because
I think maybe that the runner I'd go after Jackson here, right, just to force them to at least commit to what they're reshuffling.
Yeah.
And you can go after Jackson whenever with 3 out of the ashes in the bin.
Yeah.
Which looks like it's so something's happening.
Out of the ashes is happening.
Yeah, well, I would just run the Jackson normally if it was me, but I would have done it not on the APOC turn. I just mean just at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if there's 2 food in the bin, you force them to either leave them there or abandon the punitive plan.
Yeah, well, I suppose if you do the archives run first, right, then if they're going to do the punitive plan, like, it's kind of tricky, right? So that's clever, because it's like, if they do it now, you just go like, well, no.
But you could die to 2 food, couldn't you?
Yeah, Rob,
a 6 damage punitive.
Rob is actually in the chat
that.
and said that the game plan here he thinks is to just put 2 food in the bin and punitive them.
Yeah. Could be. So we don't know whether that was 2 foods that were reshuffled. We obviously don't know whether the corp has punitive, but it was possibly on.
Yeah. So interestingly, Ian has used the second out of the ashes here. So.
But you're lat as well, right?
Yeah.
That's why the cards have gone down to 3. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
So I'm guessing he's.
He looks like he's doing it now, right?
I'm guessing the plan is to APOC with out of the ashes and then drop conduit and just start spamming it now.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
That seems dangerous with the corp having knowing the corp's on punitive.
Either that or the plan is to play econ cards after landing the APOC. If you steal like enough stuff that you could die, I guess.
Maybe the thinking is like if the double GFI plan was on, then that would have happened already, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because
so
two face downs got shuffled.
So there's only like maybe 1 punitive in hand, so you can like see one of them if you're controlling your own accesses.
So the corp did spend a fair bit to like res the ice here.
Ooh, trashing the spin doctor is actually quite nice here.
They're not that impressive when they're not advanced, right? Like the Pharos and the Akhet. The Akhet's pretty easy to get through.
They are merely okay.
they're nearly there, but they're about to go into the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's doing this whole thing clicklessly, essentially, just with out of the ashes.
Maths.
Okay. Algebraic maths.
It's not like it's your that's the other thing as well. If BTL finds the mass-com, then it is sort of a bit like it's worth quite a lot. So I think APOCing before they're on 9 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 advanced cards out is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many ice are actually in these RPC decks? Like,
I think there's 12 or 13.
13. Well, yeah, I suppose 13 in 44. But like, if you like knock 6 of them away, like there's a maximum size that deck a stack can be now.
Yeah, it's pretty relevant.
There's a CVS that doesn't do anything. So, Ian trashes it.
Conduit, maybe later.
Yeah. Yep. Eating the paperclip to pawn shop, an APOC.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, you've got your pawn shop trigger.
Before you even...
Yeah.
Nice.
I like it.
You lied.
It was a scam.
I am slightly sorry.
So now what do you do? Just draw, I guess?
Yeah. Like, I wonder if, like, you... Alright, he's going for the conduit thing. But
okay, there we go.
Curious about whether just sitting there and, like, controlling the game and being like, right, let's... next time you build up again and I'll do it again. If I have to.
Oh god.
Oh no!
There it is.
No.
Oh no!
Oh, you see, that's part of the danger, isn't it?
It's on.
Has Ian just lost the game?
Jackson?
No, apparently not.
Is that Jackson? Spin Doctor, yeah, he's trying to draw it. Trying to draw into it.
The only card I
One more
didn't
draw.
want to see.
Took a credit. Okay. Oh yes.
Oh no.
Oh gosh, it was going so well.
Oh no.
Tricky. Yeah, that he is understandably
That is
not feeling too good.
Yeah.
So what did he? So he APOC'd, then installed Conduit, then ran. What was the fourth click?
So it was.
He drew a card.
Yeah, there was the draw.
Yeah. Call Conduit, run, panic. If he's anything like me. Well, he had to play the Apocalypse, of course.
Yeah, he played the Apocalypse, drew, dropped the Conduit, ran, and stole the government takeover.
Wow.
Like,
that's bad.
That was a risk, but I just don't think I would have ran R&D there. And I know that's easy to say now. We know that it's a government takeover on top. But like, even if you hit a GFI,
it's always like a risk, right? But, and the thing is, like, how else do you lose? I suppose would be my query. Like, can the court build that all up again, and you can't destroy it all again? Only Ian knows the answer to that question. Like a lot of APOC decks do run out of APOC power, right? So maybe he knows that. He knows he's got to pinch some things whilst it's open now. But
the court was relatively poor on 8 credits, and all their stuff had been binned. By all their stuff, I mean all their ice currently. So you set them back to 0 with a lot of their econ in the bin. I think it would have been fine to just draw money up and then drop the Conduit next turn.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Because you can survive one punitive if you can get the lap.
If you just steal, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's tricky, right? So
we have the final of Ben versus Ian coming up. And yeah, I imagine that the other Ian is feeling pretty, well, he even said gutted, but
yeah,
that's going to be quite a knock to your ego to be such in control and then die to a greedy access.
Yeah, as I say, I'm not 100% convinced it's definitely like just greedy or wrong play. Do you know what I mean? Like, there may well be an argument for you've got to take these accesses whilst you can. I'm not I'm not saying you're wrong about that. I just wouldn't be as sure that it was definitely a wrong play. If you see what I mean.
I think if you're going to take the accesses, you do it straight after Apocalypse. So you APOC, then drop the conduit and run, rather than draw a card like he did. I assume he drew.
It was draw into conduit.
He drew into the conduit, but knowing that if you take a 6-pointer, you die unless you win the game.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, it's real rough. But like, what are the odds of hitting like a command takeover? I suppose
they're about 1 in 23.
Sure, whereas you might be in a position where you're like, right, I want to build up these counters. The odds of me hitting a government takeover are pretty low. I'm far more likely to hit a 1-pointer or 3-pointer that's going to set me up for the future.
Yeah.
And you see it and you go, oh no.
Indeed.
Do we have?
I do
Right,
think.
well,
I do think this is. Yeah, Lat would have protection against it if the Corp had a full hand as well, and the Lat had a full hand.
Yeah. Yes, indeed, because then you can just you could at least have to pay for it twice. Yeah, like it was like he knew the instant that it had happened, like so I don't think it was a risk he wasn't necessarily aware of, I suppose. I'm just thinking back to like my own APOC days, and sometimes you just have to exploit that window because like it will shut again.
Yeah, as Dave says in the chat, not running is a 0% chance of losing when the Corp is in a bad way. Yes, you're unlikely to hit, but it's also the best way for the Corp to win was for you to run.
Yeah, I think it's a fair argument.
I think it's also interesting because you're so deep into the tournament and in such a good position to maybe play it a little more safe than you would in the Swiss. Because I think like early on in the Swiss, running there would have been absolutely 100% correct.
Yeah, it's what I'm talking to him just now. He reckons probably just slowing down and preparing the second APOC would have been best.
I mean, that was definitely my first instinct, but it's like that thing of being like, there's always like, there must be thinking going on behind it. However, if Ian himself would go, oh no, I was wrong, then I'll be like, all right, fair enough.
I assume
stop
like
defending your stream, just like.
I assume the goal was probably to steal something else, just so that
absolutely.
like when you do steal the Gote, you win, so it sort of turns off punitive. But
yeah,
it's just unlucky.
Yeah.
Are they taking a 5-minute break before the final?
I assume so. There's no chatter in the group. Oh yeah, they're taking a small break.
Yeah, sure. I'll come back in a couple of minutes. Just get a drink.
Fair enough.
This has just flown by, hasn't it? I thought this was going to take
like
till
the
10 o'clock.
Some really interesting. I mean, I really like this BTL deck. I tried building BTL and it always felt a bit, but I like, and I don't know. I still think like Biotic Red Planet into Government Takeover is such a meme thing to do. Like.
I mean,
but it's a somewhat serious-looking deck, isn't it? It's quite hard to. I don't know what you do as Crim against it, other than just get lucky.
Drop the black file, I suppose.
Yeah, but then you still have to get lucky after.
I know.
I mean, I'd assume that.
I guess there's Crim. Okay, the table's starting, but if you want to go grab a drink, just go grab one. I think as Crim, you just have to steal and hide behind a citadel.
Yeah. I mean, like obviously Rob was thinking about embezzles, right? Because like, that's. I assume that's part of the reason they're in his Crim deck. Because I think there's lots of good reasons to have it there anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, because you can embezzle the combo out, or you can embezzle the kill package out if you find the points early.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a deck that likes having criminals.
Rob in chat says that the embezzles are slotted for Neurospike, but this works too.
Sure. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. That's a fair thing to have them for as well, I think.
Yeah,
if you're
and
worried
as
about
we all saw last week, people forget Neurospike exists and die.
was that a thing that happened a couple of times last week?
It was the thing that happened with
playing
me
last week.
in round one.
Right.
I can't remember. I think I was against Algebraic actually, or so. Maybe I may be misremembering my opponents, but I was quite far ahead of Steve, and they installed dedicated advanced CityWorks, and I said, I feel pretty strong in control. I can let them just have these 3 points. Like, if I go and take it and lose my hand, I'm probably going to die to Punitive.
No.
It's fine. Then they advance it, flip Malapert, score it, grab a Neurospike, and double Neurospike me, and I'm just like, oh, right, yeah. There's that card.
Yeah. That card. Yeah. That's. I've yet to have anyone play any Neurospike against me. I don't know if the.
Oh, really?
just
I've died to it
my-
like a billion times already.
Yeah.
So it's a good card, and
Yeah.
like I was watching, I think it was Tammy Joe on stream, and it it just slow rolled this Atlas and then scored it with a counter, Neurospike, grab another Neurospike, and it's like,
Yeah, that was an incredible moment.
yeah.
I think my favourite of Tamajo's flatlines was flatlining after a hostile takeover, having been scored only by rezzing an Oberth and other things like that. Because they'd taken all of because they'd stolen a CityWorks and gone down to 0. And they just had like to get one point of damage and it'll do it. But anyway, we are here with Assassin.
So it seems like a standard Asa start with make some remotes. I'm not sure. They must have drawn for their first click.
Right, here I am. So this Acer is the Skunk's Void sort of rush.
Yeah, and
there is a Skunk work.
And the max is the Hive Mind max.
Yeah.
So I know that like the Void Asa had been referred to by a certain podcast. I think what's the name of the podcast? It's the true, like the correct Asa. I think.
The correct. I think.
Yeah,
I think Asa is so strong that you can have more than one correct.
Oh,
yeah, and I think calling any deck build the correct one is a bit.
Oh yes, I think they would be aware of their own.
Yeah, because the thing I've always liked about Netrunner is whilst obviously there are some deck builds that are just better than others, it always has been that you seem to play the player first and the deck second, unlike Magic where just decks play themselves a lot of the time.
Yes, I agree.
I am prepared to say that Boom Acer is not the correct Acer list.
That Boom Acer absolutely like dominated the early rounds of the Intercontinentals.
Early rounds.
And every time I refer to that event as Intercontinentals, I just think of people being put through tables and lifting championship belts because it's the name of a wrestling event.
Oh wow!
Sure. So there is no magnet in this list, which is very disappointing. But there is a macrophage.
This is the Skunkworks Void, right? Not the Lakshmi build.
Yeah, this is Skunkworks
okay,
Void. Yeah. He is repping Ansel, which is nice to see. There is one Ansel. I think one is, if you're going to do it, that's a fine enough number to have.
Yeah,
just
and
you should be on brand insisting on 3 of.
I don't think you put 3 in. You know. No, I don't think you put 3 in.
I have also several times throughout the day said I need to yell at you, Pat, for making Ansel's third sub quite confusing, because
that's someone else's fault. I'm sure.
It's just there's been times when I've expected it not to give total counters for some reason, because it doesn't block the access, it just makes the access kind of pointless.
Yeah. You can't do it, you can't trash or
steal.
Right, okay, yeah. So you can't you can get a Maw trigger or an Aeneas trigger, so
I don't
can you get any trigger, can't you?
I don't think you can get a Maw trigger because you can't trash court cards for the rest of the run.
But
that's true.
It themselves, I think.
Okay.
Because it doesn't fire CTM, I don't think. So. Yeah, well, I'm not trashing it. You are.
Trashing from
Very
hand
hot.
won't fire CTM anyway because it only triggers on installed cards. But
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. But even with like an AR scored or something,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that more says you trash it. The core trashes it themselves. Think. I went from pretty sure to think. So chat's backing me up right now. I guarantee it. I can't actually see chat, but I'm.
Chat are talking about that Rob puts 3 Ansels in his AOT Glacier deck, but it's not good.
Okay.
What? Who would do that? I'm so confused. Well,
I mean,
I don't think you splash it in anything really at 3 influence. I think.
Oh no, AOT
that's
is
too
in
much.
Architects of Tomorrow.
Oh, fine. Yeah. Yeah. You might. That if you're gonna play 3 off in a deck, it could be that one. Yeah.
So we actually have the reverse now because we had the Wildcat Strike on reasonably, I think, not huge credits, and
they got given the
we
cards.
did actually get the draw. So what we then saw was like the popper fermenter for like the double daily cast install. So it'll be interesting to see whether like
That's a big
Dave's
score.
fears are founded on like that draw accelerating the max quite fast. Then.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think they had a fermenter out when they were offering it to Dave though, because it was the turn after they just face checked a CVS on top.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So there's
So there's another.
Wildcat for draw.
Yeah. You're very happy to score the sandbox as the corp, though, aren't you? That's it's a crucial score against this deck. I think he plays CVS as well, probably 1 copy.
Yep.
Yeah. There's usually 1 copy.
I have seen some Arsenal lists run the cheeky macrophage as well. I'm not sure this one does though.
Yeah, this one does. It has 1 macrophage. It's got quite a bit of ice. Well, at 15, which is probably the upper end of what you put even in this.
Oh yeah, I've got the list
archetype.
now. 1 slot machine. Yeah. I guess you just have that 1 spare infant.
Yeah.
Grab the best
does he?
ice. Yeah, there was 1.
No, he has 3 food, doesn't he? Yes, he's using 15 in.
Oh no, I mean they have 1 slot machine, so I'm guessing that was they had 14 inf and just grabbed probably the best 1 in ice in the game.
I think they usually run 2 food and 2 slot machines instead. I think that's the sort of wrinkle here. It's usually 2 food, I believe.
They're not running Vetuvius, but running off-world offices instead.
Yeah, I know. I spoke to Ben about. I've played a few games against this, and he prefers the money from off-world office. I don't think he's on Biotic either.
Okay, I had off-world in my precision design deck today, and whilst the money was nice, I really do like off-world office.
Yeah.
I did miss like having Vetuvius because I think seamless launching advanced Vetuvius is just really strong.
Yeah. I guess just both players talking about how like they've both been playing like very complex lists, so I think their brains are a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Always the case with fight. Like I don't think I've seen a streamed final in IRL of Netrunner that hasn't had at least 1 mistake in it that hasn't been picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Even in games between like really good players, I've played in matches where I look back after and I think I made so many mistakes that just didn't get punished or nobody mentioned them. Or
by mistakes, I mean like doing something slightly wrong rules wise, like.
Oh, illegal. Yeah, fair enough. I've probably done that as well. It's so easy for it to happen.
Like there was an old one on Netrunner's.co.uk YouTube channel, which we used to always remind Gaz about every time we saw him because Gaz test ran, or Gaz's opponent rather, test ran Zoo 1 Keybreaker and account siphoned, and then it goes on top. And then next turn account siphoned and paid the money to break Enigma without the breaker in play.
Yeah, that is easily done.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this game. So the sandbox is massive against this. Although once Hive Mind gets onto Progenitor, it's it obviously
it's hard to
dulls the effect
turn
of
it
it.
off completely.
Yeah. Did have a purge last turn, which was last court turn, which was quite interesting.
Yeah,
'Cause,
there's
you know,
quite
you hit a bit of fermenter, but like, you know, was it like was it enough, right? But you know, but then you might just want the money or something like that. Like you're not coming to go like wide as Nessa here, are you? Because you could just go right. I will score out of this server, which you can't.
Yeah, which
Max
this
has
could
got
be.
like nonsense ways of getting in, but like not like consistently. I'll run it. Like,
It's hard.
times,
Yeah,
right?
it's hard to get in through a void, isn't it? For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good time to try and score if this is what's going on. It could be. This could be Skunkworks void even.
Yeah, especially with Violet level refill in the hand, so you get two void triggers.
Very nice.
Also, Skunkworks and void actually trigger in the same window, so you can, unlike other end the run effects, see what they do to void first before ending it.
Yeah.
Skunkworks first before ending it with void, which just at this point with 3 ice on it, this remote's pretty gone. I think
it is, yeah. If that's what's going on, it could also be a CVS, which is almost as bad, to be honest.
Yeah. So assuming
You've
this
also
is
got-
skunk void and agendas, I think you just have to abandon it and try and get a conduit lock in.
That's what I was going to ask, whether that's the game plan. You've got like 4 left in stacks. So you've got like nearly everything now, right?
Yeah, they have a simul chip in play, and in the bin is they got no conduits in there. They do have the imp. A hive mind is in there. A rebirth in the bin. A chisel, which is a card I really didn't think I'd ever see play at a final.
Does it play Devil Charm, this deck, or is it just
no? So
sort of chiseling normally?
So the chisels normally, but because Hive Mind, all the counters on Hive Mind are also on all the other viruses.
Yeah, it's very quick. Yeah,
You can get Hive Mind down on a progenitor to protect it with Cookbook, so it'll have 2 on. Then you play the chisel at instant speed, like off a simul chip when they res, which will get 1 on from the cookbook. So
yeah,
it'll be at -3.
So
but if you do get Knob Curry out, every run you make just puts more counters on Hive Mind to the point where, well, you basically force them to purge, but like a Hive Mind when it has 3 or 4 counters on just makes Chisel kill anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Also, Fermenter doesn't actually take counters off Fermenter when you cash them in. You just trash Fermenter, then you get counters equal to how many were on it before it died. So it also reads the Hive Mind counters without actually clearing them like some other older viruses would.
Damn.
Yeah, he's just having a good old think as to what
He's
line
having to have a good old ruminate on these lines.
to take. Yeah, it's
because presumably with Ben on 21 credits, like even challenging it and forcing it, is that it doesn't feel like you'll get necessarily like low enough, right? Because,
yeah, it may be that you
it
just
doesn't make that
consume
much of a difference.
more of your own
Yeah,
resources than anything. Yeah.
especially when Skunk Works is going to tax you 5 or 2 clicks, and then Void's just going to go, no, the run ends anyway.
Right, yeah. So you could even like not even res that much ice, right? Or,
Yeah.
You know, and like one gatekeeper is like, oh, now you're So
Also,
Yeah,
yeah, also Arthur Ice, especially on its first res with Gatekeeper or Hagon when nothing's installed, is really cheap for what it does.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So you know, like once you've eliminated that, I suppose it's like an optimization plan of like how to eat as much of R&D as
But
possible.
at the same time, they only have 1-3-2 and no like ways of fast advancing once something's in play. There's no biotic, there's no seamless launch.
Yeah.
So at the moment, server 1 is either a luminal trans substation or an agenda they can't score this turn.
yeah, it could be the Luminal, or it could be just a Rashida if you just don't have the agenda yet.
Yeah, that is also true.
So, wow, an Earthrise. Is there enough to draw?
That is an Earthrise. So the thing, well, they have 3 shuffle back cards. But I can't remember what they're called. Labour rights. The thing with Earthrise is you can you trash before you draw.
You fire it.
Yeah, so you fire it to draw.
But you can fire the Earthrise before you fire the max, so you get those cards.
So you get 2, and
then
trash the last one.
I see.
But yeah, then once you've shuffled in with Labour rights, you'll shuffle 3 in, draw one of them, and then you can get the other 2 with the Earthrise.
Well, you can get 2 with the Earthrise, right? But you can't like get all 3, right? Because
I'm talking not now. No, like you'll get the top 2 and trash the other one. But when you Labour rights the 3 in, Labour rights draws you one of them anyway.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Of course it does. I see.
So this is looking like it's being represented as a food initiative.
Yeah, could be food, could be a sandbox if he's just really confident it can't be stolen, which is probably correct.
I think I do think it can't be stolen, and I think scoring a second sandbox here will be pretty devastating.
A bit good. Yeah, a bit good. So we're going for the conduit plan as suspected. Going to see quite a few cards.
4, because it currently has 3 on it when it. So yeah, you'll get the normal access plus 3, which is a pretty deep dig.
So if you have a CVS server 1, do you do that now? Like obviously not now, but like once the slot machine's paid for.
Yeah, good question. Maybe you do. Depends if you can. Do you have ice that you can put on there after you score your sandbox? I guess is the question. Like if they can just come straight back in, then it's maybe not as good.
Yeah. It also depends on like how you feel, how stacked R&D is, because you know what you've drawn, you'll know roughly what's in it. Because 4 cards should, on average, steal 1 agenda.
Yeah.
But if you've drawn a lot of non-agendas, then...
Yeah, and like if you get the chance to like trash anything else, that's nice.
There we are, on agenda.
There's 3 misses and a hit on the 4th card.
So if this is a food, right, this is kind of awkward. If it's not a sandbox.
Yeah, because you need to slap something on R&D, right?
Yeah, if you have it, you certainly need to.
Like, you can't even really purge here because they can just go back in quite easily. And you know the top 3 cards are dead.
This is So this is risky. So you should just run through this slot machine, or you can blow it up with the chisel. Can you? Oh no, you don't have a program to sack to the simul
chip. No.
You could just run through and lose 12 credits by running through 4 times. Like,
yeah, I mean that's.
But you'd see like 5 cards and 6 cards and 7 cards and anything that you trash or steal. Because you're going to trash whatever you see if you're going to run through a slot machine that's draining you. The Earthrise did tick down and draw nothing.
Labour rights.
Vindication? No, I mean, I'm not vindicated.
Is it worth just looking for some cheap program you can sack, just to get the chisel on the slot machine? Is it worth blowing up, or should you just be running through it?
I mean, now they've shuffled cards back in. There is only 2 in the stack. Yeah. So yeah, I think I would
have just run through it. At least click 1 and see where you are, like whether you've stolen, whether you've trashed anything, and then decide if you just want to go all in or not.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly my instinct as well. But
so they saw 4 last turn. They stole 1. Yeah. So only the top 2 are on, and there's a knob curry.
Oh, I see. So you're going for the extra thing you get from the knob curry, I guess.
It's a similar. It's a similar plan, but just wanting the console out first.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
So this will go on Hive Mind probably.
Yeah.
Might as well.
And we'll dig an extra one, so they'll see 6 off this one alone.
So this is the program you're sacking, right?
Yeah, this. I mean,
and then a botulus to take the
botulus. That's I would have
You
got
could have
chisel. I
chiseled it down, couldn't you?
mean, so if you got chisel, you wouldn't be in. It wouldn't kill it that turn because its trigger to try and get the cards or the credit of the counter or kill has passed. But the next run, it would die because it would get one from cookbook. Oh no, it wouldn't die.
Yeah.
It'd be one on cookbook and and then 3 on hive mind. Oh,
There was
there's
CVS.
yes, yeah. So
Pretty good thing to have.
One other thing that was being played around. So yeah, he's got to do the.
Have to do counter trick.
Well, because conduit is not going to count the hive minds, is it? Maybe
it does. It does if you trigger Knob Curry first, but JNet gets a bit funny about it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. After we discussed if that was the CVS, if you fire it or not, we seemed to forget the possibility that that could be CVS, and was all like,
yeah.
"Oh, this is a bit awkward." They're just going to dig through Ben's deck.
I think it's because I'd have expected it on the first one, but like maybe I just there must be a play here that makes it the second one like doing it now better, right? I don't know what that is, but I assume it exists. Something to do with access maths.
Yeah.
Competitive players are supposed to know this stuff, you know. What are you here for? Come on. Explain to me exactly why it was much better on the second one.
So the first one saw 4 cards, and
okay, yeah.
Like those 4 cards could have been anything, and if you stop them, you purge down to 1, and they still start building up. Whereas if you do it after you know that the cards are going to see a dead, you've just essentially made them waste a click to run through slot machine. A slot machine which is now paying the co-op money because they've shuffled 2 hardwares in.
Right, yeah.
You purge a higher number of tokens if you do it later, don't you?
Yeah.
That will always be the case. But yeah, it was good. Still needs an ice for R&D though.
Yeah.
See, with the runner on such low points, I think if Ben has a agenda in HQ here, you just jam it and hope that they don't find everything.
If you've got 4-2, you can still install advanced defend R&D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, and you should. Yeah.
At which point
Ben seems to be going into the tank there, because I don't think you can challenge. Well, that remote is, like we said, pretty gone. It wasn't Skunk's Void, but on 4 credits, you're not challenging a Skunk's work.
No, well, if it's Void, yeah, like you're just not going to get in like 3 times or whatever.
If Ben has ice to cover R&D, that's great. There's always the possibility that like HQ is just full of agendas as well, and that's why Ben's not
right. I see, yeah.
Not terrifically bad about terrifically bothered about them going into R&D with Conduit, but
yeah.
So many cards.
Well, then you just jam, don't you? You definitely just jam if that's going on. If you've got the Luminant, so much the better, because they might not even think it's an agenda.
Okay, so I think they were focusing on whether to
get
rid of the botchless here, because then they can yeah.
Okay, so this could be
bring it back as easily.
Yeah, this could be the Luminum, or even just a slow roll thing. Using the Arthur trigger to get a second ice on R&D was quite nice as well.
Oh yeah, there's an ID ability, right?
Yeah. Also, they killed the one with Botulus on, which means that the 2 Simmel chips they know of that are in the in R&D need to, I suppose, eat a Conduit, a Hive Mind, or Progenitor to bring stuff back, unless Ben reses something which lets him install a bin breaker.
Yeah, you can't afford to eat any of those, so it's tough.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Very interesting.
And even if Ben's not representing the win here, he's putting something in server 1 like this does represent that HQ is dead as well.
Right, yeah.
And even if both the things in HQ are agendas, it's not enough to win.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what Max does here.
No idea.
Well,
What breakers have we got in the bin? We've got Clip and Blork, but we just have no money to use them.
Yeah, they have 6 credits. They've just they've drawn 2 simul chips, but the botch list being overwritten means you don't really have anything that you want to eat to simul chip.
Yeah.
You could play a Wildcat Strike. Are they allowed to pick the draw option?
Yeah, they are allowed to pick the draw option.
Okay, so it just reads lose 2 credits.
Yeah.
It's an event that loses you 2 credits. Nice.
There's no tranquilizer in the bin, so that must be in their hand. There's also only 1 labour rights in the bin or RFG, so 2 of those must be in their hand. So labour rights can start grabbing stuff back, but
yeah,
it's just time. I don't think the Max deck has enough of it.
I think you just hope this isn't the win, don't you? You hope this is not the Luminant, and you try and set up to do something.
You hope this is either another Sandbox or GFI, and then set up this turn and hope to just use Conduit to great effect next turn.
Yeah, I think that's right. If you've got a Tranquilizer, if you can labour rights back so you've got a Botulus, then you can start messing around with all these install triggers and things like that. You now know that you can't get CBS'd at some point, right? Because it's in archives.
Is it still in archives? Did it not get shuffled? Oh no, it is in archives.
It is indeed sitting in archives.
Not knowing what anything ice-wise and R&D is quite scary though, because
yeah, I was gonna say you could just face check it, but the problem is basically any ice I think is bad for you. The slot machine was already like the best case scenario, and that's gone.
As they said in chat, Ansel is a pain. If the one-off macrophage is on R&D, that's just gonna both like rain and snow on your parade.
Argon's a pain. Drafter gets back the CVS.
Yeah, I think the play here is to labour rights back the 3 Botuluses, install 1, install 1, and maybe then install the 2 simul chips and just hope to have some leverage next turn, and hope that isn't Luminant Trans Substation in the remote, and it is agenda that can't be scored next turn.
You see, now here's an interesting one. There are 2 cards in HQ. So Void now, if the Void is the thing in Serval 1, you can't get in Serval 1. You're just going to get through the ice.
The ice is the problem. Yeah, there's just
I think it's also more likely to be Skunk Works at this point.
Even Hagen blows you out, doesn't it? It just kills the progenitor.
Yeah,
you can't get the turtle high enough at this point. So all right.
I think it's simul chip, labour rights for some programs, install one of them, and then use the simul chips to get Botuluses out at the end of the corpse turn on the R&D ice, and hope to be able, the 1 medium dig will be enough, because the conduit dig will see, because you'll put a counter on Hive Mind, so it'll see 6 cards. It's just a case of getting through the 2 ice. Also, the bit of banter between the players saying that Ansel is a pain, and they hope that you are watching that part.
Yeah, I know. I was playing against Ben a few nights ago, and we had a game where the Ansel was bad, so I recommended he took it out of his deck, but he didn't. Miscounted. Ian has miscounted something.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to miscount because he's the numbers guy. He's a statistician. Well, I don't know if he does it as a job. I don't know if that's his job, but he does. He does the articles all about numbers. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the players are asking for some takebacks, and if it's allowed through Ren, but they seem to have just gone on.
Yeah.
Probably because he knows he's about to win with this 3-2 in the remote.
We're convinced that it is Luminal substation now.
So he's going
I think,
for like the HQ.
I think it's reasonably likely. I have no good reason to think it, but I don't know.
Okay, so
Could be a Rashida just as easily.
so they've
How many
installed a
Rashidas
progenitor, which is a program that can be eaten to Simulchip.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why the run on R&D HQ here. Like if you've got a program that you can eat to Simulchip, then surely you would play the second Simulchip, which you put on top with labor rights, and then run R&D, eating the progenitor to get a Botulus back, and then you can just grab a second Botulus because all three are in the bin, and see 6 cards on R&D.
Yeah, well, Ben doesn't understand it either.
I presume the goal is that like it's going to be cheaper to get to an R&D, and you get another counter on Hive Mind, which will be another access on R&D next turn, maybe. But that's my best guess.
You just res this as Ben, whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
It's got the money.
So yeah.
Yeah,
he's pointed out that maybe Amakor is an option because you get the Amakor.
Yeah, I was going to say there's also an Amakor in the bin, which is a good simul target.
It could break the drafter.
Yeah, so you break the drafter. It comes in at strength 1+.
It comes in at
3,
strength 3, so you can break the drafter for 2.
Yeah.
You put
the
Knob Curry counter on Hive Mind, so
Yes.
now
Then
you
run R&D.
5 strength and run R&D.
Yeah,
that's
you can break. You can break anything, right?
Yeah, and I think you just you only break one. You only break the install sub with drafter. You let them put something in their hand. Oh, maybe if they put the CVS in hand and you access
CVS,
it.
yeah. I think you can run R&D on 3 credits. There's probably going to be stuff you can allow to fire. Like if it's Fairchild, for example,
you just
could
break the
the
last
end of
one
run
and just sack some stuff.
sack the cookbook and even the knob Kiri at this point.
It may well be that. Oh, I see why you don't want it in because you might access the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be a bit of a shame to do all that.
Yeah. I mean, hilarious, but you know.
Love a good CVS blowout.
Yeah.
So if you break both, you're on 3. So is there any combination of R&D ice that could
I
actually
guess just
stop you?
two like 2 F3s get through. 2 Ansels are quite annoying, although you can just let.
There's only one in the deck, so
Okay.
you're okay.
See, it should be more than one Ansel, you know.
Probably not then. Gatekeeper,
you're
I don't
okay.
think you can break 3.
No, you can't. You're on 5. Just completely forgot about Gatekeeper.
I think you
there's
go for. Hopefully, it wasn't there.
Yeah, it's your best chance. But yeah, Gatekeeper
they are letting them pick up a card from archives.
Yeah,
which,
I mean, maybe you just take the 1 in 3 of not.
Of not hitting the CVS. Oh, I hope that they don't
Just
take
not
the CVS.
Yeah.
They took the CVS.
Right, yeah.
It got added, yes. But so does he?
Make a mistake is tricky.
Does Ian reckon he needs this 4th credit to get into R&D then?
Yeah.
Is that
access Ansel?
He sees Ansel, so there's no Ansel on R&D.
So
okay, so
anything
now you just
shy of a well, I've been rused. So anything other than I was really hoping you'd hit that CVS. I think we all were secretly. So yeah, anything that's not Gatekeeper just doesn't stop you.
Yeah,
because like you said,
Fairchild in the deck.
Fairchild, you just break the ETR and
there it is.
Yeah.
There's the Gatekeeper. Yeah. Not enough money.
Yeah, I think he was running on the principle that this was his last turn, right? Which maybe
could still be something else.
Yeah,
in the
and
remote.
I still think I still think instead of running R&D HQ like that, if you played the second simul chip and run, you could have got Botuluses out, which is much the same effect, but
There we are. We have a winner.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
3 clicks left to purge as well.
That's so rude.
well, that was very well played by Ben. But yeah, I think if they dropped, instead of running HQ, drop the second simul chip and then run conduit run on the last click, they could have simul chipped in a Botulus and then still have a simul chip that was now live to either get Turtle or whatever. They would access one.
At least a shot, yeah.
Yeah, you access one less card because you haven't hive minded from the run on HQ, but like the gatekeeper was always going to stop you, and there was still 3 of them unaccounted for. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
so
Ben's read everything.
Remote, but like, yeah.
Yeah, that server was pretty messed up and probably not.
Yeah, that wasn't
getting
that
through.
Wasn't.
If you had just played the second simul chip, you could have got into R&D. I don't think.
Interestingly, like if you'd have challenged that slightly earlier, like the gatekeeper gets weaker. There's actually no void in there. Like maybe it becomes slightly harder to score out of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. No, it's knowing whether there's a void in there or not is a.
Yeah, well, we assumed that it was Void Skunkworks, and then the Void turned out to be a CVS, which which rused everybody.
Interestingly, that was turn 10 as well. Like that required a lot of thinking from them, but it's also like bearing in mind that like that is a court scoring out on turn 10 as well, which is very doable.
Yeah.
Cool. We're seeing if Ben wants to come in and have a chat, which would be cool.
Yep, he does.
Just need to give him the.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Ben. Well done.
Oh, thanks. Cheers.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that last couple of turns of the final were really fun to watch. Like, we talked quite heavily that it was probably CVS in the remote, but could be Void, and then just totally forgot that CVS was something we discussed when you didn't ice R&D.
Yeah, that was tough. I didn't know whether to push the GFI or to ditch the slot machine and actually protect R&D. But I figured I had the Luminal in hand, so I figured, okay, well, I can afford to lose a few agendas on R&D as long as I can push the Luminal afterwards. And then it was like, well, when do I pop the CVS, right? How deep do I let them dig? When's the optimal time? I might have popped it a run early, but it was okay.
I think you popped it at the right time because you already knew the 2 cards you were going to see were dead, and they just wasted resources breaking slot machine and getting through.
Yeah, like 3 credits might have made the difference to them towards the end, like whether it slightly limited their ability to mess around and super attack R&D.
Yeah, I guess them losing the money to slot machine made the remote feel a little bit better, because that remote actually wasn't that good. Like, I don't know if you saw at the end when I rezzed the ice.
Yeah. I think because when we expected it to be Void and Skunkworks, and we were like, yeah, that remote's pretty gone. Like, you just ignore that and try and win through Conduit. But
we spent most of the game saying this remote is amazing, and the runner can definitely not.
And then when it was rezzed all, we're all like, oh, if you challenge that early on, like the gatekeeper just falls off really quickly, and it was a lot less scary than it looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Even the drafter on the inside, which was just a case of that's the only ice I had at the beginning of the game. Without a void in archives, the drafter was sort of doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's true. It seemed like quite a smooth game for you. As soon as we saw the sandbox score, I mean, that's the big one you want against this deck, isn't it?
It makes a world of difference. Like, yeah, scoring that sandbox just makes that match a lot smoother, like you say. I think you really have to prioritize trying to score that first if you can, and making sure that when you push it, that it's 100% safe. Like a lot of the other agendas you'll push when they're like 70 or 80% safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that matchup, like scoring the sandbox, is clutch. Fun games.
Yeah.
What were the decks that sort of like gave you the biggest trouble today? I mean, like that, like that was by no means a pusher. That looked like a well fought game. Are there decks out there at the moment that you're kind of that today you were like, oh, that's a rough one for me?
As Corp, I was glad to dodge all the APOC. Like, I'm sure that list has lines against APOC, but I don't know what they are, and I haven't practiced them.
Yep.
And I don't know how good Void is at defending against APOC. Like, I don't really know what you do.
Also, like, yeah, APOC was oddly popular because I think most of my games were against an APOC deck, and 12 Ice PD Rush doesn't do very well against APOC.
No, it doesn't like it, does it?
Yeah, I wanted to play APOC Tau at this event, but I just couldn't get my head around it. I couldn't get it to work. So fell back on 419.
That's what I did as well, but I mean, it wasn't that good for me. I don't know how you found the Anikam 419 today, Ben. Was it noticeably different or better in some matchups?
Honestly, so I like it. It's fun. I'd play it again, but honestly, I got super lucky in almost all of my runner games. Like disgustingly so in 2 or 3 of them.
Okay, so we've got some comments from chat. Rob asks, how would you feel about the other matchup if you'd lost this game?
Coin flip at best. I felt better when I knew the list because I think Mendax and Algebraic were both on the same list, and I played against both of them. And against Algebraic, I didn't know the list, and I was super nervous, and I wasn't running aggressively because I didn't know what the ice was. And the only reason I won that game, this was one of the disgustingly lucky games. The only reason I won it was because both biotics were in the bottom 4 cards.
Oof.
Against Mendax, it was better. I felt better about it because I knew the ice suite. I knew what my lines were. But mass commercialization is a card, right? There isn't a lot you can play around on that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're playing Headlock Crim, like getting similar decks to nothing, and then they're just going, oh, I'll gain 18 off this one card. Always feels really, really bad.
Yeah, I felt like I had Mendax in a really good position, and then they were on 16 credits out of nowhere, and it became a coin flip. It became, right, we're halfway through the game. You've drawn half your deck at this point. You're down to 19 cards. There is a 50-50 chance that the government takeover is in HQ. Legwork with a Docklands pass, and like I said, I got lucky. Like, it was in HQ.
Yeah, and we've seen like decks that look to be in control against that BTL. Like poor Ian in the game before this, Apocalypse cleared the board and went for a cheeky HQ R&D access to charge up Conduit, and stole the government takeover when he couldn't beat a punitive trace.
Yeah, that was rough. That was the one bit of the stream I actually caught. And I mean, anything can happen in the cut, right? But
yeah,
but damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serenity says, if you want some APOC practice, she has a new variant she needs to test out.
That sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I really like that Acer list. I don't know that it's the best corp list, but it's certainly up there, and it's pretty straightforward to play. Like, I recommend it.
The Skunk Void, it's got. I think it is up there, isn't it, as one of the best corps?
Yeah.
But
so, did you try the Lakshmi version before this, or as well as this, or did you just gravitate to the kind of like food courtsy style of the Skunk Void list, and just stick to it.
I tried a Lakshmi version, right? I tried to build a tablet acer that without Cybernex Court. I haven't played the Simon Moon one, right, which is with the what's it called? Is it Sandstone?
Sandstone. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks wild.
Supposedly better than it looks. That the sandstone, I mean, is apparently better than it looks, but I don't know. It's
3 credits.
It's a bit hard.
Can people see the game end of game summary, right? By the way, currently.
Yeah.
Because I just want to I was either going to do it as a quiz or not, but can I point out between the Corp and the Runner, the basic action card to draw cards or play credits was used 4 times over that game, which
this last game.
That last game. There was on the Corp side as well. There was literally no credits by click and only 1 card drawn by click.
Oh wow!
Which,
yeah, I've just brought
that is power in cards, right? Because you don't need the basic action card anymore. With the Acer installs as well, you're probably using the basic action card even less, right? Because you're double installing. So, I mean that is a telling statistic. Of the power of the decks at the moment.
And cards drawn by click on Max side is 2 as well.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
just shows how much the Max triggered and Wildcat Strike race through your deck.
Yeah.
I mean, once you score Sandbox, you don't have to click for credits anymore, right?
No, you just purge for 4 credits.
You did purge once, so
and
that's fair.
It's a bit different against Criminal. I think against Criminal, the game goes about 5 turns longer, and you probably are clicking for credits at some point in that.
Yeah, no, it's a very particular matchup. Certainly, that was. I certainly have no gripe. It was just I saw it and I was like, whew.
It's fast,
yeah.
And I think the Runner has to be fast as well.
Yeah.
What one's sitting there installing all the Rizekis and DZMZs and hoping for the best, in the end.
I've tried it. I've tried that. It doesn't work.
I've tried that.
There is no end game.
Ben, what card from Gateway most surprised you with how much it's been played or how good it is to play?
Mutual Favor? I have opinions about that card. Every time I see someone play that card, I tilt myself because these opinions just come up inside me again. That card.
Wow.
Yeah.
That one's not surprisingly good though, is it? It's just we knew it was going to be good because it's a strict upgrade on something that existed before.
So it's more than one strict upgrade on something that existed before, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite understated though, because if you ignore Rig Shooter, and as long as you're careful around net damage and stuff like that, it's better to play that than a redundant copy of a Breaker, because you pull the redundant copy out of your deck and then you don't draw it later on as a dead card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah.
It makes me even less likely to play a second Fractor because you've essentially just another copy of Paperclip, isn't it?
Yeah, because unless, I'm running 2 of each Breaker in Steve, apart from Paperclip, which I'm running 1 and an extra Mutual Favor. And apart from the one deck that I'm going to play that has Arc Lockdown, Paperclip doesn't care if it gets blown up. Because it comes back.
In terms of the cards that made me double take, it's Pharos, I think. Pharos is gross when you put 3 counters on it.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that in, I can't remember which game it was, but yeah, I think it was Rob was running against Ian's Corp, and Pharos being triple advance was that's 9 for Paperclip to break. Paperclip, which historically feels like it blanks barriers, needing to pay 9 just feels really, really taxing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not used to paying 9 for anything, is it?
No.
Even Chiashi, it's cheaper.
Yeah, if you've got the time to put the advancements on it, and in that deck you do, right? It's really good ice in that deck.
Yeah, I'm like that BTL deck. The fact that 2 of them got to the finals 4 of a 32-player store championship with some very, very strong players in. And its game plan is to score a government takeover. Is just it's just amazing.
I mean, it's one of those reflections of like you can if you have a slower deck, and like it is a slower deck. It's very good. I think it's very well put together by those who made it. But the sort of like when a meta is like really fast, like when you go slower, like so many runners are like, they're sort of like pulled in two directions.
Mm-hmm.
So you get sort of like stronger on the basis of like so many runners today are not sitting there going, all right, well I'll build up this massive pile of money because I need to like hold out for the late game. They're like, right, I need bravados, I need this, I need running, I need, and that's where you shine, because you're like, well, you can't get any money off me. You can't run my servers and things like that because it's not getting you anywhere. And all this tech you've got to make sure you can get into my remote, I'm not making one. So
yeah,
I think that's when they get real power. So I think it's a very smart meta call as well.
It's like the opposite of the Hasbiroid decks at the moment, right? Particularly the seamless precision design one.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it, to tech against everything as a runner. I mean, I still certainly haven't found something I'm particularly happy with, but there's so many different directions. There's kill plans, there's slow decks, there's fast decks, there's assets. You just it's so hard to be good against all of it.
Completely agree, yeah.
And you also can't put all the tech slots in, because then you just end up with a deck that doesn't have a solid skeleton because you've got too much.
Yeah, then you're just too slow and you lose to Polana.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's the Caldera in case they're on net damage, and here's a Citadel, and here's the Blackfile, and here's some other random one-off tech cards.
Exactly.
But why am I drawing all dead? Like,
yeah.
Cool.
Draw a lot of sports hoppers in my time.
Well, congratulations on the win, Ben. It was
congrats, man.
Really well deserved, and some really fun games to watch. Thank you for everyone who tuned in on the stream, and thank you for joining me, Pat and Guy.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
I think I'm gonna probably end the stream here by raiding the other event that's going on, which is a single-sided Swiss run by Yesengrin.
Yes.
Sure. Jeff.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Have a good night.
Yep.
Bye, chat. Bye, everyone else.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.